Oh my god, what year is it? What date? What year? Fucking 2022. What a load of shit. Linear time, my ass. How's everybody doing today? Welcome, welcome, welcome in 3025. Yeah, we're almost there, right? We're only removed by 1,003 years. It's something though. There should be like some kind of big BattleTech-y thing when 2025 rolls around. We're only one millennium removed from. Well, no, a bunch of shit happens in BattleTech prior to that, obviously. I guess 3025 would be like, we're one millennium removed from the point at which everything is awful and we've lost everything that defined us as a people. We'll be there before we know it. Nom and some grilled cheese and tomato soup. Ooh, that sounds nice. That's a winning combo, isn't it? Let me ask you a question to Square. Do you put tomato slices in the grilled cheese before you grill it? Because for my money, you get some tomato slices inside the sandwich, and then you put some butter on the outside, then you pan fry that shit. It's the perfect grilled cheese. You get some good tomato soup to go with that, like a nice creamy tomato. Maybe toss in some bacon chunks, I feel like I've done bacon in the grilled cheese before, but I feel like it's best doing bacon pieces in the tomato soup rather than bacon in the sandwich itself. I like to add ham in my grilled cheese. I can see that. A little bit of something, a little bit of protein, a little texture. I could dig that. Welcome in, folks. Mr. Square, Peg, Kursala, Project Dark Fox, Ren Momo, Riot Sister hanging out. Hopefully feeling a little bit better today. There is Data Nerd. Wow, we got just everybody in here tonight. We're out of control. Holy hell. Of course, there's to Square, Hamburg Tack hanging out, NMO, Xander Shade. Where are the reliable fusion reactors? We're supposed to have those by now. What is it that's stopping fusion reactors from being a thing right now? There's some technology, some fundamental problem that's stopping us from having reliable fusion reactors at the moment. What is it? Diced up salami and grilled cheese. I can see that. I'm a sucker for cured meats, though. Is it containment fields, Greg? Because every like diagram I've looked at for fusion reactors, the containment field seems to be like between people's conceptual designs. The containment field always seems to be the one that varies the most. There's people who are like, well, we can use an energized plasma, to create like a magnetic containment field, and other people are like, well, we could do that, or like a series of plates that are energized in just the right way would create the containment field. And what would happen in a fusion reactor if the containment field broke down? It wouldn't be an explosion. I guess it would just melt down your reaction mass. I clearly don't understand the technology very well. I'm just kind of mentally musing on it because I do find it fascinating. White Wolf hitting that 21-month streak. Thank you so much for your support, White Wolf. It's okay. It's okay. We're just glad to have you here. More viable. More viable is always the trick, isn't it? Magnetic containment and energy density. Sun makes a lot of power, but is huge. We're still working on figuring out how to squeeze it down. If only we could contain the sun. From the dawn of human civilization, mankind has dreamt of destroying its worst enemy, the sun. And one day, ladies and gentlemen, we will get there. Karen's afraid of nukes. Yeah. That's just a fundamental misunderstanding of what the technology is. Because, like, I don't even think you can release, like, from what I've seen of theoretical and somewhat operational models for fusion reactors, like, it's not even possible to release huge amounts of ionizing radiation from them. Yeah, no, I'm not even gonna read that, Ren. It's okay. We'll all just move right past it. Don't even worry about it. Here, you know what? We have the power to edit time. There you go. I'm gonna violate the temporal prime directive real quick and just fix that for you. I just watched that movie yesterday, Greg. It's so funny you say that. I just watched that movie yesterday. Don't forget to make the inhibitor chip this tiny little super delicate piece of glass at the very top of the mechanism. I love how they just breeze right past. They just breeze right past the fact that it's like, oh, I'm gonna do some fusion. But first, let's take a moment to recognize that I just created a technology that is going to change the texture of what it means to be a human being. That said, let's get back to my fusion. And everyone's like, oh, that's cool. Isn't that dangerous? Oh, it seems fine. No big deal. Yeah, well, that's what you get for being a mod, Kursala. I don't think I said it this time, WJ. What did I say? I said something 3 times, but I don't think I said howdy. I might have said alright, alright, alright. I don't know, I just kinda phase through my folksy idioms a lot of the time, you know? We pick a different one every week.
I know you're really focused, Thunderhead, but your camera is not.
The camera's fine. What are you talking about? What are you doing? What are you doing, O'Coral? How you doing? How's things? Haven't seen the new Spider-Man film yet. Always love seeing Raimi Doc Ock. Yeah, so I actually watched, Greg, I watched the extended cut of Spider-Man 2. I realized I hadn't seen it before. It's just a lot of, like, 5-second chunks that are added on to various scenes. Little bits of action that weren't in the original cut. You get, like, 5 to 10 more seconds of, yeah, no, there is. It's on Amazon. You get like 5 more seconds of Bruce Campbell being a dick. You know the scene when Spider-Man, his web shooter stops working and he falls on the roof and he has to go down the elevator, and there's that scene when the guy's like, oh, nice costume, I'm thinking about getting one myself. Instead, the guy comes in and he just like... it's a funnier scene in my opinion. Because he's like, oh, I really like what you do, man. Yeah, you do good for the city. Your whole look is really put together. You know, you got like the webs on the costume, and you shoot the webs out of your hands. He's like, I'm a PR professional. You know, maybe I could riff something up for you. You know, we could have like Thwip. You know, like a men's cologne, or we could do like hammocks. I don't know. Those are made of. You could do like hammocks made out of webs. It's a funnier scene. It adds a couple little bits to his fights with Doc Ock, which I actually think were pretty cool. Bring some of my printables. I mean, they got printers down there. I don't need to bring the things themselves. I can send the files ahead of time. I know plenty of people in San Antonio with 3D printers. Weirdly, somehow, still. Brothers requested I make him a full company of additional mechs, complete with a Steiner Scout Squad. That's just a bunch of atlases. I hate that meme. There's nothing really wrong with the meme. It's just fucking overplayed, isn't it? Hang on, I'm enlarging my chat box here so that I don't lose track of what's going on. Bronchitis sucks ass, Roland. I'm sorry to hear that, man. You can get lots of neutrons from fusion of hydrogen, which embrittles your containment vessel. You want helium-3 to get around that. That sounds scientific to me. I support that. Why can't we add non-atlases to it? Because that's not the meme, WJ. You have to respect the meme. If you don't respect the meme, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't actually encourage anyone respecting memes. Memes are stupid. Hang on. I'm reconfiguring my OBS a little bit here. Don't mind me. Now, Sir Bedware, I'm very frustrated by memes and social media lately. It's not like a real frustration, you know, not like, oh, there's still world hunger frustration, not like, you know, politics in general frustration, but just a very, very mild frustration where it's like, you know, probably get more engagement if I memed more, but I don't wanna, so I'm just like not gonna. I don't know. Old man yells at cloud. How you doing, Automat? We were talking about the Steiner Scoutlands meme for BattleTech. BattleTech has a surprising number of memes. Oh, Ren, one of your New Year's resolutions is to paint a Battletech Lance? Oof, I'm looking forward to seeing that. Like, you say that, the Project Dark Fox, but that's ultimately not the meme. Yeah, anything over 80 tons, but memes are sort of an evolutionary thing. They have a growth to them, and that meme has come to be just a whole lance of atlases. Like, it used to be a more complex meme, but like with most things as evolution goes on, they don't necessarily become more complex as they refine themselves into the systems that are best for their survival in their particular environment. And for that meme, the most elegant form of its evolution was 4 atlases, and then people just keep doing that over and over and over again until it doesn't mean anything anymore. I'm on mute. Fuck you, Rhino. No, I'm not. I have an audio monitor right below my OBS screen. You can't get me with that shit. I respect the attempt, though. Not like a lot, but a little bit. A little bit. Dr. Rhino, when are we going to talk about the second half of Attack on Titan Season 2? Dude, Season 4 starts in like a week, man. Season 4 starts in a week, and I so very much want... I so very, very much want to go episode by episode with you for Season 4 Part 2. I want this to be a thing. Planning on trying my first custom base soon, since Ares had the beginners set from Army Painter. Custom base? What do you mean, Xandershade, by custom base? I'm curious. Very curious indeed. I always seem angry, Dr. Rhino, because I probably am. On some level. What made me angry recently? Oh, the first movie I watched of 2022 was a Neil Breen movie. That's something I could be angry about. I don't know why the fuck I did that to myself. I'll tell you what, though. I shouldn't warn people too much about this. We do movie nights. We do movie nights on the Discord last Saturday of every month. I would like... I'm going to screen some Neil Breen. I'm gonna do it. And I don't want to make too big a deal of this. I don't want to scare people off. But if you consider yourself to be the kind of person who can appreciate bad movies, and when I say appreciate bad movies, I don't mean like, Sharknado, it's funny because Tara Reid's in it, you know, or I'm going to mention Gary Busey, because I know Dr. Rhino is a fan of this movie. Speaking of which, Dr. Rhino, I tried to watch Bounty Killer the other day, and I thought I had it on Amazon, and Amazon was like, oh, you can't get this in your region, so I've got to, like, surf the fucking 7 seas and get myself a copy of it so I can actually watch it. I'm sorry I haven't yet. But, like, somebody mentioned Gary Busey in reference to the Neil Breen movies recently, and, like, Busey is way more competent than Breen. Like, these are completely different orders of magnitude. Busey is saner. Like, Busey at least has a bit of an excuse, like some traumatic brain injury. Neil Breen's just a fucking maniac, and his films need to be experienced. So if you are at all a fan of watching bad movies and just sort of appreciating how oblivious they are, consider showing up to the Thunderhead Studio Discord movie night at the last Saturday of this month, because we're gonna watch Wiseau and Breen in the same... See, this is a good comparison, because Wiseau and Breen are a similar sort of narcissistic and terrible at what they do, but Wiseau had more money, and Wiseau is also more self-aware than Breen is. Because Wiseau, after he did The Room, he picked up on the fact that people were like, this movie's so bad it's good, and he was like, sure, let's do that. And he tried to do some other projects, like he tried to start a show where he was like, it's gonna be so bad it's funny, and it's fucking, it is unwatchable. It's not even fun, it's just terrible. Breen doesn't seem to understand that. And he's managed to make 5 whole movies without ever catching on, and I wonder how long that's gonna last. The bubble has gotta burst. And, like, the only way you can get his movies... It's difficult for me to even describe this. You have to go... For each movie, you have to go to a different website. There isn't one website where you can order all his movies. You have to go to a different website for each movie and place a separate order for each one. And you have to PayPal him directly. And then what happens is Neil Breen takes your money, and he takes a fucking DVD, and he burns the movie onto it on his home PC. And then he has a printer, and he prints out the title of the movie on it, and he puts it in a shitty plastic jewel case, and he puts it in a media mailer, and he sends it to you. And that's the only way you can get his shit. Like, okay, you can pirate it. You can pirate it online. It's possible to do so, because people have posted it in a few places. But for the amount of enjoyment that I'm getting out of this, I want to own the physical media. I want to provide this man with money so that he continues doing what he's doing. Dude, Time Bandits is not a bad movie. No, Greg, no. Time Bandits is not a bad movie. It's a bizarre film. Certainly. But it's not, like, bad. In the same way that... I can't... Greg, I don't have the words. I want you to just be there. I'm asking you, in particular, Greg the Salt Miner, be there for a Discord movie night at the end of this month, and I'll show you. We'll watch Pass Through, or Twisted Pair, or Fateful Findings, and... These movies have been featured on Red Letter Media, and I think Max Landis described it once as, it's like watching someone else's dream. And this is a great description of it. It is like your conscious, fully cognizant mind peering into someone's REM sleep dream state. It is... It is fucking amazing. The first movie in a trilogy. Is that true? Did the trilogy never get made, or do I just not know the other ones? Oh yeah, Naked Lunch. That's a classic. Alright. Let's sculpt some shit. What do you say? Should we do that? Riot Sister, don't think I forgot about you.
Hello there.
Director wanted to express creativity in a trilogy. Time Bandits is from the viewpoint of a kid, the second is from an adult, the third is from an old man. So did he just not... He just didn't get around to, or didn't have the money or support or the producers to make the follow-ups? That's weird. That's an interesting idea, but maybe it would have been more clear with the follow-up films to compare to, but I didn't get that from Time Bandits almost at all. I don't know what his other movies are. I don't know, Time Bandits for me is one of those movies that I remember seeing it a lot as a kid. I watched it a few times to kind of chuckle at it, but it never stuck with me. I think I watched, like, Ice Pirates more than I watched Time Bandits, and I consider them to be kind of in the same little group of bad movies. Again, those movies aren't bad, though. Like, I feel like it needs to be... Like, those are perfectly competent films. You can tell who the main character is, you can tell what their motivation is, you can tell what the conflict is, you know what they're trying to do each step of the way. Like, it is a competently told story. If you want to complain that the special effects aren't good, or that the story is crazy or something like that, like, but it makes sense. I feel like bad movie, really bad movie, badly crafted movie has to get into things like, what is happening? What are they trying to do? Who is this person that's talking? Just incomprehensible. Dr. Rhino, you might wanna check your speakers, buddy. Might wanna. Is this? We can do like some sign language so you know what I'm referring, because this will be Dr. Rhino. Okay, we'll be like, It's the universal hand signal. Yeah, I'm just trying to get some shit out of my way on my desk here. We're gonna sculpt at some hills, because I need to get a bunch done. Gilliam referred to Time Bandits as the first in his trilogy of imagination, followed by Brazil with... Okay, I have to admit to a staggering amount of ignorance right here live on stream. I don't know how I didn't know that Time Bandits was Terry Gilliam. But I did not know that until just now. I haven't really paid much attention to Time Bandits over the course of my life. It's just something I saw a few times as a kid and barely revisited. Now that you say it, I'm like, oh, I see literally all of the connective tissue there. But for whatever reason, I never put together that that was a Terry Gilliam movie. I love Brazil. I'm not a huge fan of The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. I've seen it. I've enjoyed it, like, once, I think. I've seen Brazil a number of times, though. Sculpty cherry pie. The plot isn't linked, but the themes are. Now I feel like I need to go back and rewatch some of this stuff. Rewatch a few of these things. I'll bet Min-Max Minis probably does, too.
Welcome, everyone,
Min-Max Minis
to Thunderhead Studios.
How do you feel?
The only role is...
God damn, please don't show me your genitals. Please don't.
Have fun, be safe, and above all...
Don't show them to me. For the love of God. Don't do it. It's against the rules. Min-Max, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, folks. Min-Max, how do you feel about a rewatch of Terry Gilliam's Time Bandits, Brazil, and The Adventures of Baron Munchausen? Would you be up for that? I don't know that I am, honestly. Like, the more I think about it. Because I only really enjoy Brazil out of that series. I hadn't considered them thematically connected before, but now I'm kind of curious. I don't know. Maybe we'll do that after we do Neil Breen. Because y'all are going to watch some Neil Breen movies with me. That's going to happen. It's absolutely going to happen. The Man Who Killed Don Quixote with Adam Driver. I remember when that came out, but I didn't see it to square. I probably should. God, I'm so ignorant. Welcome in, Raiders. We're just plumbing the depths of my film ignorance today. As eventually we'll get to work sculpting on some Battletech Hex Hills. Is that a pipe in your hand? This is my stylus. This is my pipe. I can see how you might confuse the two. They both go in my mouth. An abnormal number of... Oh, we've started this now. Just make the clip. Make a gif out of it, you fucking degenerates. God. What am I doing with my life? I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Min-Max, I hope you had a good stream. What were you working on over there?
Welcome back to 50 Shades of Coal Gray, Chapter 5. Thunderhead smiled as he held two brushes aloft, staring down at his workstation and me with an evil light glinting in his eyes. He put both sets of bristles into the Glorby fluids, chuckling to himself as he did so. Looks like it's time for two brushes, one paint pot.
I don't know why I still allow those voice clips at all. I'm sorry, Riot Sister. It's not my intention to hurt you, but it'll be all the Neil Breen movies and the... You can't get DVD copies of two Neil Breen movies now. His first two movies, Double Down
here
and I Am Here Now. You can't order those
It's okay
anymore.
to be sloppy. Bonus points if it's white paint.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Do I really smoke a pipe? I live in Colorado. I'm stoned basically all the time. It's good to see you, by the way, Lady B Miniatures. Welcome in. How you doing? And a Happy New Year to everybody. It's the 2nd of January. It's the second day of 2022, or as we might come to know it, 2022. I've made that joke like 9 times. It never gets old. It never gets old. Oh my God. Just streaming a smoking jacket, turn this in. No, different pipe. Very, very different sort of pipe. Zombie Bro Studios. I'm not, yeah. I'm blowing my cover over here. Oh no, I'm just a big stoner. I mean, I always think it's funny when Matt Yee tries to cover up for that. Because I live in Colorado and I can just talk freely about it. What's funny is Twitch doesn't even have a problem with you smoking on stream as long as it's legal in your state. Which, you know, good for Twitch. This isn't going to be the most fascinating sculpting today, by the way. Folks, I am sorry for that. Getting a root canal today, so Neil Bremen can't be that bad. Different Neil. Totally different Neil. Neil Breen is... I hate to quote The Matrix at you, but no one can be told what Neil Breen movies are. You have to just watch one. You have to experience the profound frustration and confusion of trying, because it's like it has these little threads of a story that your brain, like the pattern recognition lizard part of your brain, will start to try to latch on to. You're like, okay, I got, there's a story here, this thing led to that thing, this guy's trying to do this, and you'll think you're getting it. You'll start to weave them together, and then it'll all just come to pieces. I'm talking about a filmmaker, Lady B Miniatures, named Neil Breen, who, if anybody watches Red Letter Media on YouTube, you're probably familiar with a few of his movies, because they've featured them on several of their Best of the Worst episodes, and at least one focus episode from Half in the Bag. He is a filmmaker from Las Vegas, who... There really are no words. There really are no words. Lady B, the best thing I can say is if you're interested in finding out more, I'm going to screen one of his movies at the Discord movie night on the Thunderhead Studio Discord last Saturday of the month. And you should try to be there. Just to experience it. I think everyone should. I did hear that, Xander Shade. Which is good. The details of that case are an interesting one. Everyone got really focused on the sentencing, and then everyone got really, really up in arms because it's like, oh, this is crazy, and minimum sentences, and this is a problem with our legal system, and people do worse than that. They don't get as bad a sentence. If you really look at what that guy did, he should probably be in prison for longer than that. He consciously made the decision to not steer his truck onto the shoulder or into several like off-ramps, runaway truck ramps that he passed, and then he plowed into a bunch of people. And I don't want to get too into that case because it's kind of depressing. I'm just going to say, like, I feel like that's a case of lots and lots of public optics that sort of miss the details of what really went on. Is it a joke his mother pulled on him at birth? What, Neil Breen? What's wrong with that name? It's the name of a race in Star Trek, but that just happens sometimes, like the Kardashians, you know? Is there a family out there named Romulan? Probably not. I feel like I would know. So all we're going to be doing to these guys today is I'm doing some real simple work to get these meshes ready for texturing from their primitive modeled form. And I'm just going through all of them and doing the same treatment to them so that I can then come in and texture them all at the same time. Lady B, thank you for the reminder. I'll have a beer here in a few minutes. There is no exclamation point fart, Lady B Miniatures. That's not a command. God. That's just immediately where you went with the commands. I wonder if there's a fart command. What would that do? I'd have to have a quote related to farting. Or like some kind of electrical stimulus machine where you enter the command and it like shocks me and makes me fart. Ooh, that would be good content actually, now that I think about it. That's probably against TOS. Because if they allowed that, they'd have to allow all kinds of crazy shit. Excuse me. I didn't have Max by Polygroups on, and that was going to bite me in the ass. eventually. Thankfully it hadn't yet. Smoothie, smoothie, smooth. Hey, what's up, Merlin Models? How you doing? I have the same last name as a Sith Lord. I want the same first name as a Sith Lord. I want to be named Sheev. Why isn't that a name? We've got Steve, but we don't have Sheev. Strange, isn't it? I mean, admittedly, we also don't have Qui-Gon or Obi-Wan as real names. But that one just seems close enough to a real name that it could have happened. I don't have a beer yet. I'm waiting for them to cool, but I will go ahead and actually hydrate a bit, Merlin. Thank you so much for getting that shout out done, folks. Check out Merlin Models. Did I see Ion Raptor in chat? I just realized that. Like, that just skipped right over my brain. Right off my smooth brain there. What's up, Ion Raptor? How you doing today, man? So you know what I'm doing here? When I sculpt these hills, I start out with the primitives, filling every bit of hex space they possibly can. And then when I work, I do nothing but subtractive sculpting. Because if you add anything, they're going to exceed their hex boundaries, and you won't be able to interlock them or use them together. And also, the tolerances for the mech minis is so tight that they will bump into the hills if you even put them next to it, so you can only do subtractive sculpting. And that starts to reduce the hex footprint to support them on top of it, so you have to mask it in such a way that you are preserving sort of a minimum viable top surface. And then I remove what material I can, and then I come back in and I add textures. But what I do is I take all of the basic model hills to about this point here. I save this as a project, and then I'll come back in and texture them afterwards. Because this is sort of the lion's share of the what is going on tonight. Oh my god! Oh, does it say how old I am? Did I put how old I am in my bio? That's a weird thing to do. Ugh, people are gonna know that I'm old. That's terrible. God. Oh my god. Bitterbrush. What's up, man? Thank you so much for the raid. What were you working on tonight? Welcome in, folks. Rizet Suari. And, of course, Piper the Cat Shark. Welcome in. You up to anything fun over there, Bitterbrush? And, folks, if you haven't followed Bitterbrush yet, you really should. He's an entertaining fellow and a pretty damn talented painter on top of everything else. Not to mention, a very dapper-looking gent, if I may say so myself. And Wombat Combat, how you doing, man? We're all old here. Oh, one day at a time. Well, I'm just, I'm right at that point, Data Nerd. I'm right at that point where I'm starting to feel old. How goes the sculpting? It goes. It goes. I've gotten a lot done in the last few days, and I'm kind of home stretching it right now. Let's load up this guy. And here's the next one we're doing. Gotta change its geometry a bit here. Take it from 285 points to 800,000, and now we can work with it. Let's see. There's that top section there, and then this part goes up and around here, and over there. That's on its own, and then there's two here. Easy peasy. Got a bowler hat atlas in the queue. Oh god, what has science wrought? Bitterbrush, go get you a sandwich, my friend. I never insist that people stick around after they raid. Boy, you've been streaming. Go get you something to eat. Take a walk. Do you have some hills to fit around the heliostats to suggest a crater? Not specifically. Could that be done? Yes. That could very easily be done, as a matter of fact, Vergatarung. Keep that suggestion in your back pocket. I've only got a couple maps worth of hills left to finish in this current bout of work, so once I'm done with it, because all of these hills are being made to fit the existing map packs that you can get for Battletech. They're being made so that you can use them together with those. But I'd like to make some more custom packs after that. A lot of this has been me just sort of refining my method so that I can make more very, very quickly. Could totally do a negative space crater where interior hexes are just blank negative space for better gameplay. I like the idea, Greg. I like it quite a lot. And this is just me defining that minimum viable playable top space and trying to create sort of organic shapes. You have to have at least 2 hex edges fully supported, ideally 3. Otherwise, models get wobbly. There we go. I started watching Midnight Mass today, and it was both a mistake and wonderful at the same time. You have a hill pack for the free maps off the CGL online store? Do I? I don't know that I do. I don't think that that's in my list. Thank you for making me aware of that, though, Xandershade. Yeah, Midnight Mass. I was like, people have talked about it. I've heard people complain about it, like, oh, it's a bunch of talking. I assume those other parts of their speech based on what I've seen. I assume that if you watch Midnight Mass and then you complain about the fact that there's too much talking, you follow that up with drooling, like, Kraft macaroni and cheese mixed with Pabst Blue Ribbon onto your stained, ratty fucking tank top. I assume. I don't know for sure. As you salivate over your fucking signed copy of Transformers Dark of the Moon. But Midnight Mass is done. If anybody doesn't know, Midnight Mass is written and it is a 7-episode limited series on Netflix, written and directed by Mike Flanagan, who has been the writer-director of... And if anybody knows things he's done prior to this, please let me know. The things I know of his are Haunting of Hill House and The Haunting of Bly Manor, which are excellent, by the way. Haunting of Hill House is, like, really, really good. Haunting of Bly Manor, I didn't like as much. I still liked it. It's still good. But I didn't like it as much. And it has, honestly, one of the worst performances out of Carla Gugino that I've ever seen, which is disappointing to me, because I really like Carla Gugino. Her accent was fucking atrocious, though. But yeah, he did those two, and then he did this show Midnight Mass, which came out a little while ago, and it is a lot of talking. There's a lot of talking. There's supernatural elements to it. Implied supernatural elements, and some really, really creepy imagery. Like, really creepy imagery, on par with some of the best, like, hidden ghosts that he did in Haunting of Hill House. He has this real mastery of creepy imagery that's like, you don't notice it at first. Like, he'll put it in front of you, and it's like you won't really comprehend what you're seeing until you notice something, and then your brain puts it all together, and then you get fucking chills. This is a terrible description of it that I'm giving, but it's how it works. Usually the thing that's gonna creep, like, at no point is there like a booga booga booga, the thing jumps in the camera and scares you. It'll always be in the frame, and you just, like, won't notice it, or it won't seem to be something until it moves, and then you'll be like, oh my god. And he uses it so sparingly and selectively that it's really, really effective. It reminds me of, like, Lake Mungo, which is a great, great ghost story. If you consider box select mask the entire subtool from this view, then removing the mask on the edges might be a touch faster. So I've tried a few different ways to do this, and it really, for me, works best because I'm making little decisions based on the type of hill that I'm doing as I draw out this top mask rig. And I'll usually come back in and modify it a little bit when I'm done. But of the different masking methods that I've used, this has been the most conducive to the final product. Because I changed the shape around quite a bit. And I try to not repeat the same lines too much. On this one, it's more samey than a lot of the others, because these are just meant to be like really low foothills. A lot of the others get more complex, though. And all I'm really doing here is just establishing where my poly groups are going to be so that I can do the rest of the work real quick. And a happy New Year's to you as well, man, Rofasol. Where can we watch this? It's on Netflix, Riot Sister. I haven't finished it yet, so please no spoilers if anybody in chat has seen it. I've watched through episode 3 of Midnight Mass. It is a lot of dialogue. It's a lot of characters talking about their lives, but it is some of the most riveting dialogue, with a couple of really great actors in it. It's got Rahul Kohli. Who doesn't love that guy? Yeah, I try to make them individual, Greg. I try. Now, you may actually have some good ideas on how to improve my workflow, and if you do, they are welcome. I'll be the first to admit that I'm still a newcomer when it comes to Zbrush. This is just the way that I've found to preserve the details that mechanically need to be there so that I can get real sloppy and quick with all the texture stuff. I'm sort of defining the parts of the model that are not allowed to ever change. Well, not ever, but I use a lot of the polygroup masking at around 60 to 70%. But because this is Battletech and Hex terrain, there are certain features and certain measurements that are simply not allowed to change. I can see that, Greg. I pretty much stick to one subtool for this style. Keeps it simple. Well, I'll have two if the hill has to be divided into multiple parts. Hey, what's up, Chewy? How you doing today? Oh, Coral's so full of good ideas. Well, but he wasn't eating pickled jalapenos, WJ. For the love of God, get to an eye wash station. Inquisitor Burnsy, how you doing today, man? It's good to see you. Mash the top off, extract a subtool from it, then sculpt all over the whole damn thing like crazy, then boolean the playable tops back on, and clean up. So, the reason that would not work for me, Greg, is because specifically the relative spacing between multiple surfaces like this, including the bottom, has to be very, very precise. I can't play too much with the relative position of any of these polygroups. So it's easier to just mask out the parts that can't change and then go hog wild on the rest of it. It's much more permissive on the bottom surface. And then I decimate it down to something like 25,000 points. Keeps it down to a couple of megabytes for the final STL. Keeps the detail decent. And boop! Got my polygroups. Doing pretty well, working on priming a bust to play with Verdaccio on Oh Ho Ho Ho, Oh Ho 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 Ho. Oh, we're just doing a little bit of sculpting. Merlin, you're out of your mind. All I have is water right now, man. I mean, I'm not gonna complain. I do need to be actually hydrated. Now, I do intend to be playing... I've used that mesh extraction a couple of times. That seems really, really good for doing, like, armor and clothing on humans. As far as, like, take a human form and sort of mask out like a vest, and then extract the mesh and expand it outwards, and then use that as a subtool to then build everything else on top of. We'll be experimenting with that in the next month or so. Always try to push the bottom back a little bit more than the top because mech feet tend to overhang their bases a lot. Never mind, folk, if you got a larger format printer, you can always upscale these on the X and Y axes to a larger hex size. Pretty easy to do, as long as you got a printer that can handle it. And you can always just chop them in half and put them on a smaller form printer too. Yeah, Verdaccio is, you can look it up on Google. It's actually really, really fascinating. It's a technique that I keep looking at and going, I should try that. And then I just kind of don't. Hold up. I fucked up. Thank God I have an undo button. Okay. There we go. This is wildly inadequate. That would not support a hex base properly. Part of the thing that annoys me is that Catalyst Game Labs went with the hollow bases for all their official mechs for Battletech, which they make it so that if you don't support the edges of the hex, the entire model will just slide and wobble off because there's no bottom. There's no flat bottom. So, like, all of these work magnificently if you've got just a flat bottom hex base. If you're using the official CGL ones, if I don't support the edge, the model falls off. So I have to consider that as I'm sculpting. I wish I didn't have to. I wish that they just used solid bases or something with a bottom on it, but, you know, you wish in one hand and shit in the other and see which one fills up first, as they say. Or, to quote a movie that Greg and I both love, if wishes were crackers, my daughter would be fat. Promises. If promises were crackers. Damn it, I fucked up the quote. I've come to really, really appreciate what Sam Raimi brought to those Spider-Man movies, by the way, and I'm looking for... Sam Raimi's directing the new Doctor Strange movie, isn't he? That's a thing, isn't it? I'm not crazy. I didn't imagine that. Well, I intend for these to be used, Kursala, so I have to keep that in mind. If some poor bastard loads these up and wants to use them and their minis just keep sliding off of them, that's ultimately on me because I had the option of accommodating and I didn't. 7 months! Asri, thank you so much for the support. Thank you for the subscription, my friend. How are you doing today? Just cutting corners, Dwegham. Just cutting corners. Welcome back, Ren. Saying as I should continue weighting my bases? I need more quarters. Don't use quarters. But you can get fucking fender washers that weigh more and cost only a few cents each as opposed to roughly 25 cents each. Don't put quarters in your minis. Negative charisma. It should just be 1 for today unless... you can redeem this just in using your channel points down there below chat. Also coin shortages. Yeah, that's true too. Got some practice games with the new Age of Sigmar list. Didn't get past the top of T1. Alpha Strike armies are mean. Alpha Strike armies are one of the reasons I kind of don't play Games Workshops. Like, okay, I could name a bunch of different reasons that I've chosen to not play Games Workshop games, but I think one of the truest, one of the most honest reasons is my numerous experiences with the I Go, You Go game system, where I set up my army, and then my opponent goes, through this combination of command point things and the spell that I cast using this guy on these tanks, and cover doesn't mean anything, and I'm gonna annihilate half your army before it activates. And I'm like, what a fun game we're playing. You know what my favorite part was? Was the part where you did a bunch of things and I literally didn't get any chance to respond on any level. That was my favorite part. I hate that I Go, You Go bullshit. It's so outdated, too. Like, I realized that they'd have to make some pretty serious changes to their games in order to integrate more of a activation-based system, but they should fucking do it already. Not many wargames still use the complete I Go, You Go system because it's incredibly antiquated and the antithesis of competitive play. Alright, back to this. Now that I've complained about the game that you were talking about playing, I'm glad you had fun. Now that I've been like, everything that you do is stupid. I play better games than that. Popular things are dumb. That was a good impression of myself. I should do that more often. Should try just doing impressions of myself and not actually being myself. I might make more friends. Zbrush Studios gifting a sub to Data Nerd. Zbrush, thank you so much. Rune Wars did it best. Greg, oh, I know they did. Rune Wars did everything the fucking best. Hang on. What do we got, Kursala? It's 2 because of a miss. Oh, is it? Oh, no, Kursala's right. Kursala's right, we missed a stream, so it is 2. I forgot that we had that one miss before the New Year's stream. Well, Kursala, if you wouldn't mind handling any refunds that need to happen. Yeah, Ion Raptor, that's exactly it. Let me take this opportunity to strongly recommend to everyone in chat right now, just take a look at a game called Maelstrom's Edge from Spiral Arm Studios, which grew out of the website Daka Daka. They don't necessarily have Games Workshop level plastic models, Who does? But what they have is a fantastic setting that is, in my opinion, more grimdark than Warhammer 40k is at this point. Some really cool factions, neat lore, a couple of decent books if you're interested in getting into the setting, and fucking fantastic gameplay mechanics that they are just now releasing a version 2 of. Version 1 of the rules had some issues. Version 2 of the rules seems to fix most of those. You can get their playtest version of the version 2 rules on their website for free right now. And their models are very reasonably priced, and it is a fantastic game. And I mention it because it is a... hang on, let me get caught up here. Xander Shade, also tossing out that gift sub, hitting negative charisma right in the subscription hole. Thank you so much, Xander Shade. Negative charisma, enjoy that. Yeah, we're doing some design sphere. But it uses first of all, the model counts are very low because your squads average from like 3 to 5 models most. But the thing is that it uses a reinforcement system. So if you get a squad wiped out, you pay some command points that you gain every turn, and you can bring them back in from a table edge. So your army is more of a rotating system, and it's more focused on playing the objectives in the game than it is just wiping out all the opponent's models. It feels so much better than losing absolutely everybody. And it uses an activation-based system where, and I actually really like the way it does it, you have the option of when it's your turn, you can activate one squad and do their actions, and then you have the choice of activating a second or passing. You must activate one. You can activate two. It's a much more interesting choice than you might think when you actually get into it, because you lose the ability to be reactive, but you also gain the initiative if you've got a mission you're really trying to accomplish. Inquisitor Burnsy, this game is called Maelstrom's Edge. Yeah, thank you to Square. Please play Maelstrom's Edge so Mr. and Mrs. Thunderhead aren't the only ones playing. I sometimes think we are. Nobody plays it, but it's cheap and it's a great game. If you need something that's kind of like 40k, but doesn't suck in the rules department, like 40k models have everybody else beat, but the rules are antiquated and goofy. In this case, the rules for Maelstrom's Edge are fantastic, and the models are antiquated and goofy. So it depends on what you're looking for. If you're just after the models, stick with Games Workshop. If you're looking for a really interesting game, check out Maelstrom's Edge. And they're about to release a new starter set for it. I don't think you can get their starter set, the battle for Zycanthus, anymore, but they're going to be releasing a new starter set here pretty soon. And they're fleshing out, they got like 4 factions now. And one of their factions is, they're called the Atarian Remnant. And they're, in my mind, like what the... Oh my god, Sumitha, thank you so much. 21 months. You guys, are just, so many subs today. I'm like trying to talk about things, and people are like supporting me and breaking my line of thought. Stop supporting... No, you're not supposed to say that when you're a content creator, Sumitha. Thank you for all of your support, and thank you for being here, dude. Would you look at that? 21 whole months. Oh my god. Oh, yeah, no, the Thunderbot's lying. I'm sorry about that. Ignore what the Thunderbot is saying. The BOGO sale is off. I forgot to turn that. Hang on, let me disable that. Boop. Okay, I shouldn't do that again now. Gus Schultz hitting... Jesus, Gus Schultz, has it really been 13 months? Where does the time go? Happy fucking New Year, motherfucker. I always like Bolt Action's method. Pull dice out of a bag if you use your color your activated unit. So I can give you something on that too, Ion Raptor. You probably know what I'm going to say. But if anybody is familiar with the activation system from Bolt Action and you like it, Warlord Games, who makes Bolt Action, also makes a game called Beyond the Gates of Antares, which is just Bolt Action with a bunch of sci-fi frosting layered on top of it. And it's a great game. It's not super competitive, because I'll tell you right now, that dice draw system can be gamed so fucking hard if you're a real asshole about it. And sometimes the dice draw system results in you just not activating for like a whole turn, and it really sucks. But it certainly adds some interest to the game. Greg knows about this. Greg the Salt Miner and I played a shit ton of Beyond the Gates of Antares. Wait, Greg, you played with us, didn't... Am I confused? Did you just stand at the sidelines and comment on Colby and I playing it, or did you play it? Yeah, that's it. You just watched us and judged us while we played. The free game Star Breach also does dice draw. It certainly is a more interesting and like casual system. I don't feel like the dice draw activation system is very crunchy or very conducive to like a competitive game, but that's not necessarily what anybody's looking for, so it's fun. It introduces a lot of uncertainty to the gameplay, which can be very interesting. But I played an elite army with a bunch of cannon fodder in Beyond the Gates of Antares, and I was able to game the dice draw pretty hard. Colby used to get really frustrated by that, because we would be, like, the turn would come around, and I would just activate, like, a series of 7 or 8 abilities that doubled the number of my dice in the bag and removed a handful of his dice from the bag, and then he would just get to sit there for the entirety of that turn while I activated unit after unit after unit after unit. And that wasn't great, if I'm being honest. Like, I did it. I'm not super proud of it. It was just like, you give me the tools to do this, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it! I'll choose a different color next time, Zombie Brush. Something less appetizing. Yeah, they were kind of for a while there. What is even Warlord Games up to now? Oh, I wanted to say, one of the factions in Maelstrom's Edge is called the Atarian Remnant. And they are, I think the concept behind them was to be the movie version of the Space Marines from the Warhammer 40k lore that was just never reflected on tabletop. Games Workshop answered to that discrepancy because in the books and the lore of Riot Sister, thank you so much for the gift sub. Oh my god, going out to Merlin Models. Oh, he's going to be insufferable now. He's going to be using voice clips. We're all fucked. Okay. He doesn't even have to watch commercials. The commercials slowed him down, Riot Sister. What have you done? But also, thank you. You want me to just talk about the lore of Maelstrom's Edge? Because I'll do it. I'll do it. You might be thinking of Dust, Burnsy. I feel like there's one called Dust. No. Conflict 47. Inquisitor Burnsy, you're thinking of Conflict 47. Hamburg Tack dropping that gift sub. Oh my god, going out to Bithron. And what is this hype train? There apparently no brakes on this fucking hype train. No,
99 bottles of paint on the wall, 99 bottles of paint. Take one down, shake it around. 150 bottles of paint on the wall.
You know, it's easier for me to ramble inanely for long periods of time about subjects that interest me when I don't have, like, a super awesome community of people full of, like, active chatters and people gifting subs. You guys are, you're too much. You're too much! Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of, Greg, is Conflict 47. It's a Weird War 2 game. I never got into it, but yeah, I believe it uses the bolt action framework overall. I never played it myself. Some of those mechs make me want to paint. You think of the Conflict 47 ones, Burnsy? It's understandable. There's actually some really cool models. My biggest problem with getting stuff from Warlord is a lot of those huge models you're going to get are going to have huge metal components, and oh, that's hell. That is absolutely hell. Well, I'm not going to go into the extended lore of Maelstrom's Edge. I like the extended lore of Maelstrom's Edge. Like I said, I feel like it's more grimdark than 40k is at this point, because the basic premise of Maelstrom's Edge is, without getting into the details, basically, we established faster than light travel by using dark matter connection points between solar systems. And we established this giant interstellar civilization, and then one day, it just exploded. Like, the center of the galaxy exploded along those dark matter pathways, and that explosion continues to spread outwards from the center of the galaxy. And eventually it will consume literally everything. So it's just people on the Maelstrom's Edge. That's the name of the game. And also what the people are on. Fleeing from the edge of said Maelstrom. fighting over decreasing numbers of resources outwards along the galactic arms until they eventually can't run any further, and then they'll be consumed by a dark matter maelstrom. It's really fucking desperate, and it's a great setting for a game. But I only mention this because I wanted to talk about the Etarian Remnant, who are basically like the core worlds that got consumed, but they preserved their technology. They have a hyper-elite army, where other people will run lists where you've got like 5 squads, and in those 5 squads you've got like, you know, this squad is 4 robots, this squad is 2 robots, this squad is 5 guys, this squad is 3 elite dudes, and then there's a commander. The Etarian Remnant is 1 squad is 1 model. And it's just a dude in a huge power suit, and you can choose different weapons for like each arm and on his back. But that one guy is the functional equivalent of an entire squad otherwise. So you're gonna, if you're playing the Etarian Remnant, you're gonna run an army of like 5 models. And it's actually a pretty cool balance. I like that there is a faction like that. Like I said, it's sort of what the Space Marines sort of should have been, based on how they were written. Someone would field like a bunch of Tyranids, and you would field like 5 Space Marines. That would be enough, according to the books. But, you know, Warhammer 40k books have fuck all to do with the actual game. The Karist Enclave makes me think of Evangelion. I could see that, Burnsy. The Karist Enclave is very much like, I looked at them as like Brotherhood of Nod, and they're very Brotherhood of Nod-esque. They're very Brotherhood of Nod-esque. Because the Karist Enclave is like a pseudo-religious faction led by someone that they have deemed to be the Messiah, who worships the terrible resource that people both depend on and is destroying them. Like, they're very Brotherhood of Nod. They're also kind of necromongery, where they're like, hey, we're all gonna die, embrace the Maelstrom. It's secretly super awesome. Map Pack, I mentioned earlier, is listed in the CGL store as WWE 2018 terrain set, close to the top when sorting by best-selling. I'll take a look at that. Xander Shade, if you wouldn't mind actually posting a link to that over in the Giant Stompy Robots channel on my Discord, I'll take a look at that after the stream. I feel like I've seen it before, but it just didn't enter my brain. Hype train coming into the station. Folks, thank you. Honestly, you guys, thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for all of the support that you give this channel. Thank you for, I mean, more than for the subscriptions, which I really do appreciate. Thank you all just for being here. This is such a great way for me to spend my hobby time, and it gets me so much more motivated to keep working. It sort of keeps me on task, so I really do appreciate it. And, you know, here's to a whole nother year of this. We're coming up on our 2-year streamiversary on the 20th of this month. So, you know, here's to another year spent making fucking plastic spaceman toys. I'll add that, because at the end of this current initiative, I plan to have hills available for, that will match up with, / can be used with, the Game of Armored Combat box, and then the Grasslands map pack, and after that is going to be the Desert map pack and the Clan Invasion box, and then I'm going to get caught up on the newer map packs from the Kickstarter. And I'm kind of trying to mix up the styles so that you can have diverse looks based on the biomes. Hang on, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Let me get caught up here. Oh, the Flames of War minis? I've never played Flames of War. I'm familiar with Flames of War, but I've never actually sat down and played it. I play a lot of games, have played a lot of games, and there's still so many more that I haven't touched. I'll tell you what, though, I don't know if you guys have checked out Mantic's Dead Zone 3rd edition rules. if you're into games that are more on the scale of like Kill Team, like skirmish sci-fi action, you should really check out Dead Zone 3rd Edition. It's quite good. My complaint about Dead Zone used to be that the rules were kind of bonkers and unbalanced, even if the game was fun. They fixed a lot of that with 3rd Edition. They have rebalanced all the army lists. The first thing I noticed was that my super cheesy Space Rat list was not viable anymore. It couldn't be built. Which I'm like, that's good, because that list was cheesy as fuck. Alright, let's smooth out some of these details and then move on. If I was going to play the game, I would pick up the Remnant faction myself. I mean, it is nice that you only have to have like 5 models to play the Remnant faction. It isn't the most fleshed out model-wise right now. I think there's only 2 types of the Remnant power suits that you can get, but they're planning on fleshing it out more over the course of this year. There are, as far as well-fleshed out factions, the Empyrean Foundation, oh shit, I just said their name. The Karist Enclave and the Broken are all pretty fleshed out with a good, viable range of models to choose from to make some pretty interesting lists. Any special plans for the anniversary stream? Not specifically, Shock, but I'm going to put some thought into it. I like the Broken. The Broken are neat because they're just kind of like everybody who isn't in a faction. They're all the rabble, of which there are many in that universe. Just people, because like, hang on, have I looked at the new Kill Team? I have looked at, Greg. I have not looked at it very closely, but I have looked at it. I will say that the changes I see they have made all seem good to me, but I just can't bring myself to get back into GW products. I have successfully stopped buying shit from them, and I don't wanna break that streak, you know what I mean? Even if it's a good game, I have alternatives and I'm gonna stick to them. But that's me personally. I like the Broken as a faction, though. I like the Empyrean Foundation, because you can run an entire list that's nothing but, like, enforcement robots and civilian contractors who manage the enforcement robots. They're just, like, dudes. But, like, a lot of the fiction, they've got a couple of books written in the setting that really aren't bad. They're perfectly solid sci-fi pulp fiction. But they focus a lot on the fact that many of the standard civilians in the Maelstrom's Edge universe, their life comes down to flee planet that's about to be consumed, arrive on other planet, get dumped off of the ship unceremoniously, and then start working for enough money to buy a ticket on the next ship that's going to take you to the next planet, when this one is inevitably destroyed by the Maelstrom. It is an incredibly desperate setting. Yeah, and that's there. Like I said, there are a lot of reasons that I don't do 40k anymore, Greg the Salt Miner. But I mean, you know me. I dabble in like every game system. I love game rules. I love interesting sets of rules. All the conversations that we had about Rune Wars, like you absolutely know this about me by now. But yeah, it doesn't. The gameplay doesn't do it for me anymore. It's so flat. Just And I don't want to sound like gatekeepery, like, real war gamers would know. I'm just saying, like, if you're just kind of a casual gamer who isn't, like, really into the art of wargaming, the existence of wargaming, I just want to play a game and have a fun setting, and you don't really care that much about the history of the rules of the games that came before it, 40k is fine. It is a fine game you can get into and you can play and you can have fun, and most importantly, you can always find people nearby who play it. That is hugely important. So, play 40k. Well, for those of us who are more into the minutiae of the rules and play a lot of games, it becomes less satisfying very, very quickly. Don't think I haven't noticed. Dwegham, 5 gift subs going out. You absolute maniac. Hitting up Adrian Techno, Greyhaim 101, Lonely Sandbar, Automat Americana, and The Punished. Think. Even more punished now that he has been saddled with a subscription to this of all channels, Dwegham. Thank you so much for the support, dude. I hope you're having a good year so far. It's only been 2 days, so it can't have gone too wrong, right? Alright, that's close enough. We're gonna go ahead and save this guy and move on to the next one. Just gotta turn and burn. Really, thank you so much for the support, Dwegham. I hope that things are going well for you down there with getting Conquest going. Oh, I forgot to do one thing. It's okay. I can do it now. Just wanted to smooth these bottoms here with my polygroup masking on. There we go, that looks good. Decent group going just on the other side of the Metroplex. Oh, so you're the poor bastard who has to drive. I am sorry to hear that. Merlin, this is the last of my water. I'll go get myself a brewski. Smooth those bottoms. Yeah, you just get in there and smooth them right out. How you doing these days, Chewy? How's the painting going, man? What is it? That's 3. Let's do 4. Oh, 4 is a 2-parter. This is kind of a pain in the ass. But these are the sizes I was able to break it into so that you could print the whole hill on an Ender 3. Takes a little bit of extra work, but it's not too bad. So let's go ahead and split this into parts. And then we want to go ahead and remesh each of these individually. Got 1,000,000 points now. I'm going to take both subtools and I'm going to merge them back into a single subtool. Now I can work on them together. Maybe I'll get lucky and get this promotion. You don't need luck, Dwegham. You got that skill, man. Even so, good luck with that. May it purchase you many more plastic fantasy mans. Been dabbling in a few other things and finally sitting back at the painting desk. I find my time painting ebbs and flows a lot. You know, that's the thing, Chewy. I think that a lot of us, particularly when we get into doing things like commission painting or professional painting, or we start being like content creators, generating things regularly, there's this sort of pressure to keep doing the same thing over and over. But I feel like that exists in opposition of recognizing that what we're doing is inherently artistic. And are there people out there who are capable of just churning out art like professionally day after day? Sure, that's not most of us. So don't force yourself to art if you're not feeling it. I find myself, I go through phases where I want to sculpt a lot, I go through phases where I want to paint a lot. Just kind of, take it as it comes and ride the waves of inspiration. It's all one big one, and then here. Okay. Not at all, WJ. I'm just background noise for most people, I think. That's how streaming be, you know? I do the phase where I sleep a lot. I like that phase. When I'm able to do that phase, I like it. My problem is that I'm in the middle of about a decade-long phase right now where I just don't sleep. That's just a phase, right? That's not like something I should talk to a doctor about at all. Oh, God. I suck at sleeping, though. I'm terrible at it. And for whatever reason, I'm like super productive at like 3 to 4 a.m. I don't know. If I'm awake in the morning, I'll just sit on YouTube and watch the same stupid fucking videos over and over. If I'm awake at like 3 or 4 a.m., I'm just like, work time. I have no explanation for it. Maybe it's because I know that most other people are asleep and nobody's gonna fucking bother me. I think that has something to do with it. Like, nobody's gonna knock on my door. Nobody's gonna show up with a fucking package. Nobody's gonna call me to talk about my goddamn car's extended warranty. Everybody else is asleep and they're gonna fuck off for a while, so I feel like I'm free and clear. Now that I teach painting all the time, my own drive for painting is super hit or miss. I have about 15 projects on my multiple desks. I'm in a phase right now, Greg, where... And I've been trying to kind of chart where I'm at painting-wise after this work over the last few months. Because I got into oil painting, thanks to you and a few other people, Greg. I've been enjoying oil painting, though. But it both kicked up the level of painting that I wanted to do and dropped my productivity to almost zero. So I'm in a phase right now where I'm trying to just be like, okay, project I've started. Pick one, finish it. Doesn't have to be amazing. It just has to be done. And I think I'm going to stick with that for the next few months. just to get it off the damn desk, because I have way too many projects right now that are at like 80%. Built another 25 dudes last night. Haven't painted hardly anything in ages. Amish Stig, you know what I've noticed personally? Painting, like, I enjoy painting. I absolutely enjoy painting minis. Don't get me wrong. I love it. For whatever reason, though, when it comes to, like, building and converting minis, I can do that for hours and hours and hours. I can just build, I can drill, I can pin, I can remove mold lines, I can glue, I can base, I can scratch build, I can convert. I can just do that for hours without even thinking about it. Like, my brain just goes into the mode. I have to think about it when I'm painting, and it takes more energy. 90% productivity and 10% fuzzy detail, and home is the inverse of that. That's not a bad. That's not too bad of a ratio. As long as you got that 10%. Do you think mermaids have long hair so they can catch small prey or fish? I imagine the hair would act like false coral. I mean, I think it's mostly there to appear to be women so they can catch sailors and eat them. Oh wait, are we talking about mermaids or sirens? Are they the same thing? I think mermaids and sirens are the same thing, aren't they? I'm not talking about Ariel, I'm just talking about, like, mermaid myths in general. I can pin, I can glue, I can do this and that, but oh gods, fuck metal minis. I'm actually pretty good at building metal minis, White Wolf. I just don't like painting them. Or rather, I don't mind painting them, I hate handling them, because every time I pick up a metal mini, I feel like I'm just gonna wipe the paint right off. I get really paranoid about how good a prime job I did on it. Depends on who you ask there. Well, I'm asking you, Automat. Ignore Riot Sister. She is conceivably one of them. She would lie to us. I contend that they're the same thing. Like in Lord of the Rings, how orcs and goblins are really just kind of the same thing. It just depends on who you ask. Like colloquial names for them. That should be good. That should be good. Okay, let's do this part. I say it depends because different mythos will tell it different. In myths, mermaids were cast more benevolently than sirens. Oh, hey, what's up, Skull Fairy? Sirens were half birds. Yeah, no, I think that's harpies. I think that's harpies. Because I think sirens are meant to be actually attractive. Oh, okay, but what we're talking about, too, is, like, words that were used for several hundred years of different people writing myths. So if you really want to find an example of one being the other way, like, you absolutely can. You can find versions of sirens that look like birds, you can find versions of sirens that look like mermaids. They're all kind of interchangeable. Yeah, Dwegham, I'm just establishing my masks so that I can build polygroups and then use those to mask out my detailing. These are the parts of the model that have to stay the same no matter what happens. And disclaimer, at no point am I going to pretend that I am using Zbrush to its full potential or even particularly well. I'm still very new to this software. I'm just doing what works. So if you feel like there's a better workflow for what I'm doing, I won't guarantee that I'll switch to what you say, but I will listen. You can do amazing things in Zbrush with polygroups. I've been learning that 3D modeling and 3D sculpting are a lot like miniature painting in a lot of ways. Most notably, most relevantly, what I always say about mini painting, there's no wrong way to paint a mini. There are as many ways to paint miniatures as there are people painting them, and you need to take the parts that work for you and leave the parts that don't. Sculpting and modeling are, in many ways, the same fucking thing. You have to take the parts that work for you and leave the parts that don't. There are many, many ways to accomplish each task. Some are more efficient than others. But none of them are really wrong. Which is really just a complex way for me to say, I know I suck at this, deal with it. Have ideas for Conquest terrain pieces I need to either figure out how to do myself or commission someone to do. What you got, Dwegham? I got those 3 hills done, finally. I finally did sculpts of them that I don't hate, and that I have test printed and that I'm happy with the detail on. Which, let me show you. I'll be curious what your ideas are, though, Dwegham. I'm in the middle of working on some Spires pieces that I'm just not quite there with yet. Like, I just got this guy to a point where I'm pretty happy with it. I don't know why it's in such a difficult to see purple. But I redid the steps on it, and I redid all the texturing and the top surface and edited the sides a little bit. And this actually prints really, really nice now. It has the same footprint on top and bottom, so for game terms, it's real easy to determine when you're touching it and when you're going to go into it. And you can support a full 9 trays on top of this guy if you want to. And this is narrow enough you can put a tray across it without your models falling through. And then there's this guy, which can fit, I think, up to 5 trays on top of it. And I redid the steps so that if you're playing another game system, you can fit up to a, on these steps, 30mm base, stably on each one of them. That's, you know, if you need to actually position yourself on the steps. Yes. Yeah. Greg, yeah. That's a lot of things on these models that I make for gaming terrain wind up having the, like, flat tops and rigid shapes. And it's because, ultimately, I need model bases to sit on them. I make sacrifices in organic and realistic detail for the sake of, can I play with this? Yeah, gaming mechanics absolutely take the first consideration when I'm building these. I really like this piece. I've printed a few of them now, and, you know, actually, here's something we may do for the anniversary. I have a bunch of pieces of these hills that I've been making that are like prototype prints, like they weren't quite where I wanted them to be. When I printed them, I was testing them, and then I tweaked and made changes before the final version. I've got a bunch of them. I may just give a bunch of them away, because I don't need all of them for my tables, and they're perfectly usable. They're just not quite perfect. I'm about to make them available through Steel Warrior Studios, Greg. The only one that I need to redo that isn't quite done yet is... Wait, have I got a working file in here of it? I might not. Nope, that's not it. Hang on. This one isn't quite where I want it to be. It's a little too smooth, and it needs a bit of reworking. This one is just meant to be kind of a short but similar outcropping, and I'm not totally happy with it yet. I'm gonna work on this a little bit more before these go out. Kidney Bean Hill, yeah, see, that's exactly the problem I have with it. As I look at it, I'm like, this is a really, not even a particularly organic shape. This is just like a mathematical shape, and it seems unnatural to me. I need to fool around with this a little bit. Arson Pancakes, what you would do, another big consideration, Arson Pancakes, when I'm making wargame terrain, is durability. I don't create pieces that are easily broken. You could add a lot of detail, a whole lot of detail. Oh yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Greg. Like, I could fucking... Once you start to use ZBrush and you realize how powerful it is, like, here, let's have some fun. Oh, I need this to come out. Oh, wait, hold on. Why aren't you... Well, now I sound... I look like an idiot because my mesh isn't reacting the way I want it to. Hang on. What's wrong with you? Well, if it had worked, it would have blown your mind. There we go. Okay. But, you know, let's take move. And let's go chugga 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 and dial that brush size way up. And now we can do crazy shit. Grab this and... Oh, we're changing the shape. Look at that. I mean, this is all fucked up. I would want to do masking to keep everything kind of on the right level, but you can really just grab parts and start moving them around. Oh, look, our shape is different. Add a little tumorous growth over here. Already we're looking at a more interesting piece of terrain. It needs some correction, sure, but I'm not really keeping this. I'm just showing off the glory that is the move brush. And that's before we get into just like simple deformation using Z-Modeler, which is also fucking amazing. Will it be versions on which the hex marks are still visible? So Automat, these are not for Battletech. These are for larger scale gaming. I'm actually making these to use with Conquest and Warcaster and a few others. The Battletech hills all have the hexes on them. You could use these for Battletech. There's nothing stopping you from using these for Battletech. They're just not meant for it, that's all. You can use anything you want. And the nice thing about the hex hills, too, if you want to use them for Battletech and you don't want the hexes, just smear some putty on the hex markings and they disappear. Now, let me go back to what I was doing. Here we go. Take our brush size down a little bit there. That was getting a little zany. Raw steak. Only is... Oh, that was the part of what I was trying to finish saying. There are some pancakes, but I distracted myself, as I often do. Hang on a second. Maybe 10 to 15 degree tilt on top face so it's more regular. Should keep trays on top nicely, but break it up a bit. That's actually not a bad idea, Greg. The messing up the top surface, because yeah, it's a little too flat, isn't it? It's not as obvious on the other ones, but on that big one, it's a little too flat. Arson Pancakes, one of my biggest complaints about complex wargaming terrain, my personal complaints, and something that I keep in mind every time I'm developing anything, is... like, it can be really complex and look really cool, but then it's very, very fragile. I like my terrain to be the kind of shit that I can take and throw into a big plastic tote, toss into the back of my car, not think about for a few hours, show up where I'm gonna play the game, pull it out, slap it on the table, shift it around a little bit, and I'm ready to go. And then when I'm done for the day, I take it and I fucking throw it into the same plastic tote. That's how I like to handle my terrain. So I don't make anything that is breakable. Everything that I make is very, very sturdy, very robust. So my answer is a big plastic tote, basically, and just kind of fucking throw it in there. I can't stand delicate terrain. Like, it's you know, I feel like it's the equivalent of, you see those meals that people post on Instagram? Or if you ever go to, like, the We Want Plates subreddit, where people are like, oh, it's, you know, shaved steak in a waffle cone with aioli drizzled on top, all served on top of, like, a fucking Viking horn or some crazy shit like that. Like, this is the functional equivalent of those really fancy tables that you see at, like, gaming conventions or pictures of on Instagram, where it's like, oh, it has all this shit hanging off of it, and there's heads on spikes over in this section over here, and there's this crazy broken wall, and there's multiple levels, and like these carefully made like wood slat walkways, and I'm like, this looks amazing. I wouldn't fucking play on it if you paid me. It looks like a goddamn nightmare. And setting it up probably took you 6 hours, and breaking it down is going to take you 12. I don't want to play on that. That's a diorama. That's not a board. Oh, Dweghom, there absolutely is. Yeah. Dweghom, the limit of what you can do in Zbrush is pretty much your imagination. You can just pattern textures right onto the surfaces of models. In fact, most of the time when you see terrain that's like a castle wall, if you look for where it repeats, most people who work in Zbrush are just repeating that pattern. And then you come in afterwards and you add a couple of details like some cracks, you take out a couple of bricks just to make it look interesting, bada bing, bada boom, you're all done. Oh, that might actually be a lie on that STL command. I'm sorry about that. That is one of these hills I made yesterday that I'm printing as a test to see if I like the texture on. That is a hex hill that's printing, though. I'm thinking I'm making a Mighty Max or Polly Pocket type stuff. Looks like a carrying case, and wham, you open it up. Instant terrain. What you're describing is an idea that I've been actually kicking around ever since I saw the paper fold-out terrain, where it's like the pop-out books, but it's a pop-out terrain. You unfold it and it turns into a building. It's fucking amazing for tournament organizers, and I feel like something similar could be done with 3D printing, but I haven't quite landed on the idea yet. The implementation still eludes me. It's out there. I'll think of it. And yeah, Dweghom, you can, like, I could apply a polygroup to every single polygon facing a certain direction. Like, I could just look at this top down and go, apply the mask to literally every polygon that I'm looking at, but I want this sort of uneven organic shape, and there's kind of no answer to that except to do it by hand. I could do it the opposite way. I could mask everything and then come in and just pick out the parts that I don't want to be masked. But I found this to be faster. And see, the rest of the work on this is very quick. This is the time-consuming part, which is why I just go through and I do all the hills like this, save them as a project, and then I come through and I texture all of them at once, because that part's very quick. And once I've gotten it to the point that I'm taking them today, I'm able to come in and do any texture I want on them. So if I want to do multiple versions of the same hill, it's very, very simple to do. Boop. Okay. Easy peasy. What you would have to do is have to design the shell and have to design the parts that unfolds the initial setup of the building model kit. I've had that idea, Arson Pancakes. The other consideration I'm having for terrain right now is when you're wargaming, space is at a premium, and you need to transport not only your terrain, you also need to transport your models, your tape measure, your dice, your tokens, yada 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 yada. So I'm thinking of terrain, and I've made some terrain pieces like this. If you look at my Warcaster Geyser, that was sort of my proof of concept. But the idea is, I've got a piece of terrain, I bring this with me, that terrain opens up, and what do you know, inside it, all that void space that is normally wasted is actually accessory storage. So that you can come to your friendly local game shop with your armload of terrain and unpack the game from inside of it. This is a concept I'm playing with right now. Trying to make that as efficient as possible, because, you know, as noted, we had someone asking, where do you store it all? That's a good question, and I think that there's more designers can do to answer it. Hey, what's up, Pigpen? How you doing? Oh, I've got... I'm trying to do clay, and I've got move selected, so it's going... Wow, 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 wow. There we go. This is... yeah. Do some hills to store smaller hills inside, along with dice and maybe some mechs. It's an it's a compelling idea. Something that I'm trying to do with these hills is just keep them very, very affordable and very easy on Alex to mass produce. Something like that would have to cost a little bit more, and it would take more of his time. So that's something that I'll worry about after the basic ones are done. But it is a very good idea. Trying to design a modular wall paint rack. Ooh, how's that going, Manrofasol? What software are you using? I'm gonna assume more of a CAD program, something like Tinkercad or Fusion even. Fusion 360 does have a free hobbyist version you can use. It doesn't have some features, but they're not features that you're really gonna care about. Unless you wanted to do generative design for some reason, which you probably don't. Bottom could open like the paint palette box. It's an interesting idea. Night Watch Games, a very happy new year to you as well. How are things going with you and yours? I hope all is well. I hope that your 2022 has started off with a bang, but, you know, in a good way, not in a, like, gas line explosion way. I would never wish that on you. That would be terrible. One of the other reasons that I don't do any additive modeling on these is because if I make the hills this way, they all interlock and stack so that you can use these pre-existing configurations to make a really, really nice custom map. Or not. Or you can just put them on the neoprene or paper mat and have some nice 3D terrain, you know? I have a couple prototypes for that right now, Arson Pancakes. I've printed a few of them out. I don't like them yet. I don't like how they work yet, but I'm close. I'm very, very close, so keep an eye out. Working on my skirmish game this year. How's development going on that, man? I'm extremely excited to see developments. I know that it's probably going to take a while. Developing a game always does. Doing it right takes even more time. And I know that's... I'd say, if there's one thing I know about my bro Porik over at Night Watch Games, he's not in this for the quick buck. That much is obvious in every single aspect of how he manages his business. He's not in it for the quick buck. He wants to do it right, which is why I'm excited to see what he comes up with. Ooh, give me just a second, folks. I need to get up and grab something to drink. And upload a picture of character templates to the Discord. I would love it. I would love it, Nightwatch Games, if you put it in the... First of all, put it in any of the art channels you feel like. But if you would put at least one into the Storm Report, we'll be able to show it here on stream and talk about it a little bit. I would absolutely love to see it. I'll be right back, folks. I pushed the button before I got my headphones on. I'm usually smarter than that. Semi-modular terrain pieces in squares, the size of standard conquest stands, maybe twice as tall, 2 to 3 per different terrain rule. The idea is to print it, paint it, then encase it in resin, like a diorama. The intention is to have nice-looking terrain you can paint yourself, but also be able to put your minis on flatly. I mean, what you're describing is essentially what I'm doing, Dwegom. I don't have my Spire's terrain ready to show yet, but you are essentially describing the project that I have already begun to engage in. Oh, could you really... You really couldn't hear me before Dr. Rhino? I was saying things. We came up with a universal hand signal for Dr. Rhino. Hurry back, Forgotarung. We can't stream without you. Yes, yeah, you saw that, did you? Yeah, that's... I'm not gonna do it again. I'm just not. It's not gonna happen. Get out of here. I did express my strong desire for us to get up to date on our Attack on Titan talks, Dr. Rhino, so that we can talk about the new season as it comes out, because I'm very, very excited. This starts in like a week.
I know you're really focused, Thunderhead, but your camera is not.
What? What? Camera's fine. What's wrong with the camera? I feel like people abuse that voice clip.
Here at Thunderhead Studios, it's okay to be sloppy. Bonus points if it's white paint.
That kind of focus. I gotcha. Yeah, and that's what a lot of people have been doing, Greg. But we're looking to we're looking to take it to the next level. And
there's something about Kenobi right and Catgirls that give me that warm, fuzzy feeling. Or maybe it's just my allergies.
It always is. This, what you're seeing right here with these hills, this is... I don't want to say, like, this is the last Battletech terrain I'm gonna do. That's not true. This is a project that I put off for far too long, that I want to get released in January, And then I'm going to be turning my attention fully away from Battletech for at least 6 months, so that I can focus on Conquest and Warcaster terrain for my table, which I should work for almost any given fantasy or sci-fi larger scale gameplay system. And then Alex and I are talking about jumping back into Battletech with a larger set for a Kickstarter that we've been talking about. We have plans for it. I realized that my Battletech terrain is I've got almost too much of it at this point. Like, I was digging into my baskets of Battletech terrain and realized that I have a full 6x4 table, and I can fill it 3 times over with different styles of terrain. I feel like at that point, like, I've produced enough for a little while. I need to give people a chance to catch up. I need to give Alex a chance to catch up. He can't even get all of my stuff for sale as physicals yet. So we've been talking with somebody who does resin casting about getting some of our more resin-friendly products available. Conquest bases are on that list. This guy wants to mold and cast my Conquest magnetic bases with the various thematic designs on them, and then sell them as pre-existing packages. And I'm very much on board with that, so that's going to be kind of a project over the next couple of months. And we may actually have some Battletech mechs becoming available the same way. These are all question marks. I'm not going to say when it's going to happen. It is in process. Look, Sumitha, you don't have to point out how full of shit I am as I say the things that I'm full of shit on.
Welcome back to 50 Shades of Cold Gray, Chapter 4.
It's a square.
Thunderhead slowly brushed up and down the leg of the miniature as I watched from the desk, my glistening paint waiting for his brush to get even more. The desire was there, he knew that, but he still kept painting that mech's crevices again and again, even after his paint ran thin. "Oh, I suppose I need more paint," he said, smirking as he reached past me for another jar, dipping his brush deep inside of it while I watched in agony.
Deep inside. A Rune Wars based set. I would love to see what you have on that, Greg. Rip Rune Wars, guys. I'm not gonna go into it again, but Rune Wars was the greatest goddamn game you never played. Now it's over, unceremoniously, sacrificed on the altar of motherfucking Disney, so that FFG could make like Star Wars Legion and shit. See how that went for him. Fucking karma, motherfuckers. No, I don't really mean that. I feel bad for guys like Alex Davey who really sunk their heart and soul into that game system only to see the license get taken away and handed to a bunch of upstart fucking jackpipes from Privateer Press. Do I sound bitter? 'Cause I am. It's not dying. No. Star Wars Legion is not dying. If anything, Star Wars Legion is just printing money. It's that the license to make Star Wars Legion got taken from FFG and given to Atomic Mass Games. Which means it's probably going to become a lot more like Marvel Crisis Protocol and or War Mahords. Ah yes, 59 Shades and 50 Shads, my favorites. Go home, O'Coral, you're drunk. I don't know. I can't be like... I can't really say anything that bad about Atomic Mass Games. I just personally... I don't know. They've done a few things with their sales that have made me question them as a business. And they started up out of a bunch of guys that left Privateer Press. And they just leapt immediately into getting licensing for a bunch of Disney products, which is fucking crazy. Like, they don't have any of their own IPs. They do, at this point, nothing but produce Disney-licensed tabletop games, which is just printing money. No matter what they do, they're gonna make money on that one. And I don't know, it's all just kind of, yeah, Disney. It's Disney. I can't say it's definitively bad, I just don't like it. I'm not a big fan of those games based on huge IPs anymore, just because they can sort of disappear. They can just get taken away from the people who have them, like they did with FFG. I don't think that FFG is really losing any sleep over it or anything. I think that they wanted to refocus on doing card and board games, which is what they're really good at, but I know Alex Davey didn't make out too well on that deal, and he really gave a shit. And a good night to you, Coral. Basically, if it's not clear by now, I hate popular things, because hating things that is popular, that's great grammar, wow. Hating things that are popular is an awesome substitute for having a personality. You know? Like you're trying to introduce yourself to a new group of people, and everyone's kind of finding out who everybody else is, and they're like, oh, do you like Star Wars? I like Star Wars too. And I'm like, if I say I like Star Wars, now I'm just another one of this person. What can I do? Oh, I know. I hate Star Wars. Now I'm interesting. Now people want to know more about me. This is the logic. It doesn't actually work, I've found, but it's the premise. I'm still refining it. Just don't be a Disnoid. The hell is that? Yeah, I won't defend how they've killed a lot of their own games, Dwegham. But they're good at writing the rules. Hosted a 12-player Armada tournament just last week? Fuck yeah, Armada's a great game. AMG hasn't really put their stamp on those Star Wars games yet, and I confess I'm curious how they're ultimately going to do it. They will. Give them time. I'm too busy printing money as they release every goddamn Marvel character one after another. I wonder if they're even gonna bother coming up with their own IP, or if the entire company is just premised on getting licenses for extremely popular properties. It was Stabber Raccoon, yeah. Asmodee sort of reigns supreme over both FFG and AMG at this point. So it was really them swapping the license from one of their subsidiaries to another. Oh, well, that's just insane. Dwegham, that's just craziness. The current MCU is tired. I finished watching Hawkeye, and like I'm still not sure why. It was so silly. They bring back a certain very popular character from a certain canceled Marvel show on Netflix, and they just turn him into a fucking cartoon, which is weird. And like none of the characters are likable. I say this, you would think I hated Hawkeye. I actually kind of enjoyed watching it. It's just really dumb. Oh, that is. I didn't see that, Greg. Who did they get sold to? I've never heard of Disnoid. Disnoid. Oh, like Disney. Disnoid. Oh, okay. I'd never heard that phrase before. Yeah, that's maybe my greatest frustration in the show, Dwegham, is the show's called Hawkeye, but it's not about Hawkeye. Like, poor Jeremy Renner barely gets to be in it, and I feel so bad for him, because he's been in this shit since the first Avengers movie, and he doesn't really get a show about him. He doesn't get a movie about him. Fucking Black Widow got a movie after she was dead, and while being one of the least interesting characters in the whole lineup, she still got her own movie. Yeah, I feel the same way, Pigpen. Like, I enjoyed moments in Hawkeye. Like, as I was watching Hawkeye, I was not dissatisfied. I was like, oh, okay. Oh, yeah, okay. And some of the performances were good. I like the guy playing swordsman. I chuckled a few times. And then as soon as it ended, it's like the story just left my brain because there was nothing interesting about it. And the final confrontation was fairly weak. big force that... Wait, hold on. Captain Rogers. Did they notably refer to him as just Rogers throughout the show? I don't even think I noticed. How many pictures? You get 2 for free. Why? Damn it. Your name is like Black Arkrave. Did you just do that to spite streamers? I had to highlight you to see who said that. Oh, see, I didn't even notice. I don't think I paid that much attention to the show. It was just silly. Like, I can't even get upset about anything they did in Hawkeye because I don't think I care about any of it. Oh yeah, that's clearly the new direction they're going. What's weird is that they're still treating the movies like they're the primary MCU. Like, you're not allowed to do anything significant in the shows. You're only allowed to set things up for the movies that they're gonna have. And I don't think I care about any of the movies. Like, I'm gonna watch the new Spider-Man movie when it comes out on, like, Stars, but I don't know, maybe I'm just dead inside. Company called Embracer bought them. Embracer seems to be collecting a bunch of companies from board games, video games. How appropriately named, since they're out there embracing all of these companies. That's the thing, Arson Pancakes. It's not like any of it's bad. It's just... it's really fucking cheap. In a way, it's kind of apropos. Because it's not like Marvel comic books are high literature. And I think this is something that's important to recognize. That's why I can't really get mad about anything from Marvel. Nothing Marvel has made in the last 50 years has been really high literature. Some of it is kind of interesting. Some of it is better written than other things. But it's comic books. There's a lot of them, and the stories are really, really straightforward and simple and easy to understand and generally kind of feel good and action-y, and that's what the MCU is. But they get treated like they're this amazing revolution in filmmaking, and it's like... they're all just kind of the same level as shitty. They're entertaining. You laugh. There's some good action. It's got some actors you like in it. And then the movie ends, and I just kind of forget about what I just watched. It doesn't stick with me. I don't think about it. I'm never gonna talk about the implications of the plot of fucking Thor Ragnarok like I'm gonna talk about the religious symbolism in Midnight Mass. You know, like, this is never gonna happen. It's not there. Oh, that's an accomplishment. That is absolutely an accomplishment. They have accomplished something that no film series has ever accomplished before, and that's making this many films in the same continuity, making decent sense and not being incredibly stupid. They've done a very good job with that. It is significant. I just don't care. Let me actually save this thing and then go on to the next one. This is what makes them kind of weak, Arson Pancakes. Everything that Disney does... here's the thing. I can't be like, Disney's evil. I don't think Disney's evil. I think that Disney likes money. Disney loves making money. That's what they do. That's who they are. And as a result, they have sort of mastered the art of distilling your nostalgia and your excitement into this perfectly middle-of-the-road product that pleases as many people as possible in the simplest possible way, while upsetting as few people as possible. It's all so constructed. It's expertly constructed, but it is constructed. It is films and stories that are created by a matrix of focus groups and content algorithms. And as a result, nothing in it means anything. But it's entertaining. And I don't know if that's a bad thing. I can't say that it's wrong. It's just entertainment after all. But I can say that after you've seen it enough times, after you've seen enough versions of it, it's profoundly boring. Which might not be entirely fair. I'm still entertained by the movies. I watched, what is it, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings the other night. It's fun. It's a fun movie. I enjoy watching it. But again, as soon as it's not on the screen anymore, I forget about it. Let's split this to parts. Do a quick remesh. Boop. 300 up to 800,000. That should hold the texture nicely. Oh, I fucked that up. Let's go back to the other one. And fix it. All the things I'm doing now are behind chat. I'm sorry about that. Oh, I'll forget about it. I already don't give a shit about the stories in BattleTech. Like, I love BattleTech, but I don't give a rat's ass about the big stories of the books in it, like, at all. Okay. Now, I can go ahead and merge these again. There we go. There's one group. There's another group. And then the rest of these are on the lower level. I don't even feel like I'm articulating my feelings on it all that well. Because I agree, like, none of them are like bad movies. I can count the number of bad movies in the MCU on two hands with fingers left over. Like, Thor 2 is bad. Iron Man 2 is not great. I liked Iron Man 3. Everybody seemed to hate that one. I was perfectly fine with it. Yeah, they're all like, it's sort of what I was saying about Dune a little while ago, where it's like Dune came out, and how many people are really talking about Dune right now? It was this huge deal. It was this huge marketing push. How many people are talking about Dune right now, though? Because Dune wasn't very interesting. It was pretty. Dune was good. It was, well, constructed, it had enough money, the money was spent well, the special effects were good, the acting was good, the writing was good, and as a result, it was also really just not interesting at all. It's like, what is there to talk about? It was good, I liked it. On to the next thing. Like, there was nothing challenging about it. The color was bad. Asri, you're more of a contrarian than I am. Hang on a second here. It's boring in the same way Blue's Clues is boring now, you know, it's nostalgic, and it's like, oh yeah, no, Disney has purchased our childhood and is slowly selling it back to us. I agree with that. Maybe I'm a corporate shill, and I think that's pretty admirable. You don't have to be Here's the thing, too. I'm like sitting here talking shit about Disney movies, guys. Don't think for a second that I, like, dislike you because you enjoy Disney movies. You should enjoy Disney movies. Disney movies are created in a lab with the sole purpose of making you chuckle a few times. And they're good at it, and you shouldn't feel bad for enjoying it. They're fine films. They're just not terribly interesting, but they don't have to be. The only problem I have with it is when I hear people talking about, like, oh my god, the emotional motivations of this Marvel character. I'm like, oh my god, no. Or Marvel is breaking new ground. This is the most important movie to happen to women in 1,000 years. And I'm like, oh my god, no, for the love of Christ, no. It's all so contrived. There's nothing important in any Marvel movie. Please, there are movies where important things happen. Those are not them. Yeah, it's like eating junk food. There you go, arson pancakes. I'm not gonna stop doing it. I consider all but 3 of the MCU movies to be pretty bad. Actually, still am talking about Dune. Ooh, Automat, very edgy. Really, all but 3 to be pretty bad? Like, hold on a second there, Automat. You mean they're bad movies? Because I don't think that's true. Most of them are like, they're not great movies, but they certainly aren't bad movies. There's a small number of them that are bad movies. Even the ones that you don't enjoy a lot, I think you'll be hard-pressed to prove that they're bad movies. They're just not great. Exact same thing with Foundation. Everyone was talking about it for 2 weeks, and I never heard about it again. I would contend that Foundation is actually shitty, though, Greg. Like, Foundation is much more poorly put together and nonsensical than Dune is. And I say that as an Asimov fan, but it had dick all to do with the books. It was a very pretty movie, Inquisitor Burnsy. I think the art style of Dune was the best thing about it. Except the part at the end where Paul turned into a Power Ranger. I didn't like that part. There's nearly 40 entries in the Storm Report, so I might want to... Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah. Maybe we'll start a little bit early. Woo! A lot of MCU movies and Disney movies in general are brain iron movies. They exist to smooth out the wrinkles in your brain, which is... Well, no, they exist to... I was going to say smooth out the wrinkles in your wallet, but I don't think that actually makes any sense. It was going to be a clever phrase that means take your money from you in as efficient a fashion as possible. As efficient a fashion as possible. Hold up. Getting caught up here. You know, Project Dark Fox, maybe? But if I can be your yardstick for a moment, the world in general, it is very hard to get hyped about anything anymore, and I'm gonna propose that that is because the phenomenon of hype that has been so prevalent for the last 10 to 15 years has been seized upon by opportunists, monetized and repeated so many times that now it is genuinely hard to get hyped about almost anything, because most of these things, the hype is the point, and the end product is just not that exciting. And you can only go around that fucking merry-go-round so many times before you realize that it's not all it's cracked up to be. I'm much more excited about the things I didn't expect anymore. That's why I'm like right now I'm really jazzed on Midnight Mass, because it like came out of nowhere and I fucking love it. I was not expecting it, I didn't know that I wanted it, and now I do. No, Crossbow Roof, you're absolutely correct on that. Series of explosions strung together by a plot so uninteresting. But see, I think that we have different definitions of good and bad movies, Automat. So I'm not gonna challenge your definition. I'm just gonna say that I think we probably have different criteria for what makes a movie good or bad. I don't consider dull or unimaginative to be bad. They're very well-crafted films. Bad movies are incomprehensible. Bad movies are, like, incompetent. Yeah, we got a lot of chat tonight. I'm trying to keep up. Oh, Arson Pancakes, I'm totally with you on that. Yeah, there's no art in Disney. There's never been art. Disney has never produced art. Let's be real. Yeah, to Square, I think that Dune worked better for people who've already read the book. And that's fair, Automat. That's just personal at that point. Hamburg. Alright. You know what? You're right, Dweghom. Past a certain point, there's a conversation to be had there. Since they made all the money in the universe, they haven't. There is... I'm sure that we could pick a year to make the cutoff point. But there is a cutoff point past which nobody at Disney gave a shit about producing anything even remotely artistic. Dude, a Goofy movie was great. Okay, yeah, no, you know what? When you're right, you're right. Or maybe that's just my childhood nostalgia speaking. I don't know. Who the hell knows anymore? I can't separate my personality from my nostalgia. I think on a personal level, I define good film as something that makes me feel something, and I don't think Disney movies have made me feel anything in decades. Not really. Not past oh, that was cool. And then, you know, there we go. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with Dwegham on that one. Like, don't confuse Disney doesn't produce art with Disney doesn't know how to pay artists who can make things that look good or have artful qualities. That's part of their machine. Project Dark Fox, you lurk away, my friend. That's part of the insidious nature of Disney, though, is that they take artists and enslave them to the task of creating just soulless, money-sucking engines. For the record, for the people in chat right now who are thinking, this Thunderhead guy is a fucking pretentious idiot. Yes. I'm just gonna say I agree with you. I'm nowhere near smart enough or articulate enough to make a cogent point on almost anything I've said in the last hour. It's all just vague feelings. So let me go ahead and validate your thinking. But hey, I don't pretend anything else. I'm not a fucking... I'm not... It's not like I'm out there making amazing, groundbreaking movies or something. I'm just here bitching about the fact that other people aren't. What does that make me? I don't know, you decide. I mean, you know, for reference, one of my favorite movies is Pacific Rim, so take my opinion with a big, ol' grain of salt.
Elbow rocket! Now!
Isn't feeling what art is ultimately about? I mean, I think it's more than that, but there's certainly truth to that. Oh, that's, Sumatha, that can actually be answered. It's stunned. That's literally the moment after Gypsy just got done punching it in the head like 3 or 4 times. It's like kind of just and coming to its senses for a moment, and it's Gypsy's holding it by the head with his other hand, and then you can only get punched in the head by a giant robot so many times before you need a second to get your bearings. Oh, there certainly is, Dwegham, and that's what I mean when I say, like, good movies, bad movies, and how I define them. I'm probably inconsistent, but, like, I hesitate to call a movie bad just because it's meaningless. There is a technical craft to filmmaking, and I consider movies to be bad when they fail at the technical craft. Maybe that's a good way to put it. Movies kind of fall right in the middle for me. And a movie becomes bad when it fails at the technical craft of filmmaking, but it becomes good when it succeeds at the artistic side of filmmaking. So this continuum, this rating is judged very unevenly. Like, if you're technically proficient, but not saying anything interesting, you're just kind of it's an okay film at that point. And if you're saying something interesting, you veer into being actually good. And no, there's no consistency to any of my points. Look, I just watch a lot of movies, okay? Probably way too fucking many. After this stream, I'm probably just gonna go binge watch the rest of Midnight Mass, because I love watching Mike Flanagan's characters just, like, talk. Just talk about stuff. It's fascinating. You know what? We're going to go ahead and start the Storm Report in 5 minutes, folks. So if you want to get your entries in, make sure they are in now. Because we got a lot of entries, and I do want to get through them without streaming till fucking 11. Well, when your bad movie's a home movie, though, Nightwatch Games, it acquires an aspect of adorability. We're talking about good and bad movies. I would like to take this moment once more to note that we do a monthly movie night on the Thunderhead Studio Discord, where we all get together and we watch a movie. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. We watch them for different reasons. Sometimes we vote on what we're going to watch. Everybody seems to have a good time. This month, I am going to be screening a film by a filmmaker named Neil Breen. And I would love to sit here and for the next few minutes describe to you how bad this man's movies are. I would like to compare it to stuff like The Room and other popular things you may have heard of. But the simple fact of the matter is that there are no words in Elvish, Entish, or the tongues of men that can describe the batshit fucking insanity that is a Neil Breen movie. So I'd like to invite you all, if you're curious about what I consider to be like a movie that's so bad it's kind of brilliant, we're doing our movie night on we do it last Saturday of every month. So this month would be what? That's like the 28th? What would that be? The 29th. I was close. The 29th of this month on the Thunderhead Studio Discord. You can jump in there in the welcome channel. You can grab a tag for movie night so you can get announcements if you're interested. But we're going to watch it. And I'll be curious what the reaction is. I'll be very curious what the reaction is. It's 90 minutes of, like, watching someone go crazy. And it is an experience that I think would enrich your life. Maybe not in the way that you want your life to be enriched, but I think you'd take something from it if you felt like joining us. Oh, Asri, I don't have the words. I don't have the words. Darren Aronofsky has more incidental talent at the darkest of times than Neil Breen does. While at the same time, Neil Breen clearly believes himself to be like a straight-up messianic figure. And if I just describe to you what happens in the movies, it would not even remotely cover what it's like watching them. If you're curious, Red Letter Media has done a number of Best of the Worst where they featured Neil Breen movies. You can get a taste if you're curious. Look that up on YouTube. And if you're curious, go ahead and look up Neil Breen. There's plenty about him on the internet. He's out of his fucking mind. Saw a clip of me in PUBG years before that doesn't seem possible. I've literally never played PUBG. To my knowledge, I have never once played PUBG. We've done Kung Fury as a movie night yet. Asri, I'm not a huge fan of Kung Fury. Part of my problem with Kung Fury is that I'm a big fan of, what are they called? What did they call their studio? They broke up recently. They did Manborg, they did, The Editor, they did Single Dad, they did Psycho Goreman, not Trauma. It's another, like, Canadian studio that's like 3 or 4 guys. But, like, Kung Fury was all style, and it was really flashy, and it's funny, and ha ha ha, Kung Fury, but it's like... I'm trying to think of a way of saying what I want to say without sounding like just a completely pretentious boob who's like, Kung Fury isn't hardcore enough for me. I couldn't really describe my feelings on Kung Fury without sitting you down to watch Manborg, because I felt like Kung Fury wanted desperately to be Manborg, but it wasn't clever enough to be Manborg. Like, Kung Fury didn't have enough ideas to actually make a movie. They just had a couple of funny visuals and a few jokes, and they threw them at the screen as fast as they could. And it was funny. It was funny. But Manborg is a fucking movie. And it's clever and entertaining, in addition to being a very, very similar style and a very similar sense of humor. But it's better put together overall. Merlin models. Hang on. Let me put my drawing tablet away. We're gonna do the storm report in just a second. Let me fucking remember what the studio was called. I don't know if you guys have seen Psycho Gorman. That's also very worth watching. The studio itself broke up and the guys all kind of went their separate ways, but they're still making movies. They were called... Come on. That's right, they also did that short Biocop, which is fucking horrifying. Astron 6. That's the name of it. That's what they called themselves. What about Movie Night Kung Pao? I'm much more into Kung Pao than I'm into Kung Fury. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say that Kung Fury is, like, bad or they should be ashamed of making it. It was funny, it was just, by the time I saw it, I was like, this is just kind of like a less imaginative version of something I've already seen, you know? Kung Pao is a very guilty pleasure of mine. I don't disagree, Azri. I chuckle as much as anybody while watching Kung Fury. Do I remember Space 1990? Do I remember Space 1999? I fucking love Space 1999 with Barbara Bain and oh shit, Martin Landau. Yes, Space 1999 was a great show. The premise of Space 1999 was that there was an explosion in a nuclear waste dump on the moon, and the explosion propelled the moon away from the planet Earth and out into space. And then it's about the people who were on the moon at the time, like, sailing through the cosmos on the moon, having space adventures. And it is great fun. It's right up there with, like, what was the other one? UFO? There's more to that title. What was that show called? UFO something. It was the same idea, but it wasn't as good. Oh, Kung Pao looked like shit when they first made it, Azri. But the jokes are... I don't think anybody watching it today who had never seen it before would like it as much as I like it due to nostalgia. Yeah, the Merlin models, they almost never addressed the fact that the second the moon left Earth's orbit, everyone on Earth was dead. They almost never address that fact. I was saying that when we first watched it. I'm like, oh, there goes the moon. Everyone on Earth is just gonna die a horrible death. Yeah, absolutely doomed. Walter's Workshop seems to feel that Kung Pao is solid gold. That's just gold. That's just gold plating. Kung Pao is wonderful. The one thing Kung Pao is not is in any way highbrow. Were they a part of the same continuity, Gus Schultz? I kind of got that feeling, but I wasn't sure. Supposed to be. I like UFO for the props. Like, they had all those ships that would transform into one another. They had, like, the submarine that would, like, shoot a fighter up through the water and crap. Like, I love the little transformation sequences.
My nipples look like milk duds.
I'm not even going to explain that. Somebody knows what I'm talking about. Gary Anderson. Yeah, lots of practical effects in Gary Anderson. Didn't Gary Anderson also do those horrible puppet shows at the time, like Thunderbirds? I'm pretty sure that was also Gary Anderson. And those were unsettling, to say the least. Thunderbirds, go! I don't think I ever watched Space Above and Beyond. I watched the shit out of Space 1999, though. You can still see the Eagle prop from Space 1999. I don't know how many of those were made, but a lot of people still have them for some reason. Let's do the Storm Report. We got some work done. Let's see what people are sharing.
All right, locusts and gentle mechs, get ready to feast your eyes on glorb paint and wet palettes with the occasional culinary atrocity thrown in on tonight's Storm Report, brought to you by viewers like you.
I'm gonna have to fool with this a little bit because I switched it last time. Hang on. I'm fixing it. There we go. Now we're back. Dwight, you have a fantastic night, dude. It's always good to see you. How you doing, Walter's Workshop? Did we get a shout out? We did. Folks, if you're not following Walter's Workshop, I gotta tell you, you're not hurting anybody but yourself. It's an enriching experience to watch this man paint. And what else does he do? I guess he talks. I guess he talks about some stuff, you know? Sometimes he has opinions. What do streamers really do? Whatever it is that streamers do, he probably does it better than most of the streamers that you watch. Go drop the man a follow. Check out his next stream. Let's see what we've got being shared with us today. Space Above and Beyond, while I had some episodes I don't care for as much, the overall program is one that I would rate quite highly, especially for a 1990s sci-fi show. You know what always gets me? There's a monster in Space 1999 that both has like one of the worst practical effects and is also just like deeply horrifying. Merlin Models, do you remember the episode where there was the interdimensional space monster that would occupy a door? And it was like the door would fill up with this big eyeball, and there were these huge flailing tentacles coming out of it, and it would just have this horrible screaming sound, and it would like suck people into it, and it had a mouth at the bottom, and it would suck, like the actor would get sucked into the monster mouth, and it would just spit out like a digested skeleton. That shit fucked me up as a kid. I certainly do have opinions, don't we all? Don't we all? The difference is some of us get to be a captive audience and have to listen to yours, Walter. Alright, up first we have from Mafik. Well, I forgot to post about Iron-Blooded Orphans kit I bought a couple weeks ago and post the finished product, so here it is. HGIBO. Wait, what's H? Isn't it just Gundam? What's the H? What's the H in HGIBO? It'd be like Mobile Suit Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans, wouldn't it? Whatever. It doesn't matter. High grade. See, I don't know all these modeling terms. I'm less out of the loop than I used to be on some of the gunplay kits, but I'm getting it together. Mobile Suit has an anchor on the side, fixed camera head, etc. Ooh, that's a neat kit. One of the things I liked about the designs in Iron-Blooded Orphans, kind of more than the original Mobile Suit Gundam series, is that so many of them, if I can use some proper grammar, seemed more like they were designed to fight in space. Most of the fighting that occurs in Gundam happens in space. It's rare that they almost never land on Earth to fight. And they will rarely fight like in a colony setting where there's artificial gravity or they're moving around on their feet. They're always fighting in space. And the humanoid mobile suit form is not really ideal for that, like at all. And it's always been a little strange that they even bother being as humanoid as they are. Iron-Blooded Orphans went out of their way to show them fighting on Mars, on colonies, much more often. And when it wasn't doing that, it went out of its way to have mobile suit designs that seemed more built upon, like, zero-G thrust. I thought their designs were pretty fantastic. Wish I knew how to walk in those. Yeah, though, those are some severe heels with, like, ballerina toes on them, no less. That's a very nice kit, Mafik. I dig it. Here we have from Square, doing up an Orloff Grenadiers Rifleman. Oh god, excuse me. Pretty happy with how the cockpit is looking. Oh, I like the purple fade. That's pretty nice. I'll be curious if you intend to do any more to this. I would note that a good, solid black line between the purple and the green is going to help this kind of pop out and stand out more. Just because you got the light color on top going into the light color of the body. But if you put a nice dividing line to separate that color, it's going to look real nice. I dig it. Nice layering on this one. You keep pushing yourself, Squared. Pretty soon, you're gonna be fucking slugging it out with the best of the mech painters out there. Here we have from Xander Shade. Seems like a slow build to Storm Report this time, so I offer this. Both my brothers and my father received a custom-made, 3D printed mostly, Lance/Star of +2 of Carl's vehicles. Carl. What's the second name in that? Carl Strieger? Is that it? He does some really good designs. Is it Strieger? I feel like that's it. I can't remember. No. I know that fighting style. I know that style of combat. Wasn't like more than half of the original Gundam on Earth. That was so fucking long ago, Vergaderung. Most of the overall series takes place in space. And I don't even think that's true. We didn't see much of the early Gundam on Earth until we got to like the 8th Mobile Suit Team. Carl SZ, okay. I've seen a bunch of his designs though. We had a brief game of Alpha Strike to teach everyone else how to play, and I've had a chance to show my brothers how nice a painted mech can look. Looking forward to having more fun with them in the future when we have the time to play together. Isn't that always the trick? But oh man, look at all those 3D printed minis. These, yes, these sets. These are the free maps, aren't they, that we were talking about? I recognize this one. Yeah. Okay, so I am familiar with at least some of the maps from that pack. I hadn't looked at their hills, though. I need to go ahead and take a closer look at them. That is a nice, cozy-looking game. I like how it's all occurring on, like, a tartan, too. Well, I hope everybody had fun. I really like Alpha Strike on Hexes. I think it plays very, very well. Good-looking game, Xander Shade, and thank you for continuing to bring new people into the glory that is tabletop gaming. And I hope you guys get a chance to play again very, very soon. That's a wall of text? Xander Shade, have you seen the shit that I have to read in the Storm Report sometimes? Come on, man. How I won Quiplash. I proceeded to do amazingly well in Job later that night, but yeah, this one stands tall. 3 theme parks, more dangerous than Jurassic Park. Terrorist Town. Nuclear Nation and Oh, hey, whoa, whoa. You know what? At Thunderhead Studio, we would not short Dennis Nedry the necessary funds to create a functioning security system. Thank you very much.
Here at Thunderhead Studio, we specialize in turning your shame into more shame.
I assure you, Walter's Workshop, ThunderCon will be perfectly safe. We have spared no expense. Anatomy Park. Oh, God. Here we have from Wheezy, my 9-year-old son painted up a Word of Blake exterminator for our German Secret Santa exchange. He did 100% of the work on this mini and the base. I'm quite proud of his efforts and attention to detail. This was done by a 9-year-old? This was done by a 9-year-old. Gentlemen, it has been an honor painting with you all, but we might be fucking outclassed by the next generation. Because if this is what he's doing at 9, this doesn't bode well. for us. We're going to reach a point of complete inevitability where the next generation is just laughing at what we considered painted minis. Which is probably a cycle that older mini painters are familiar with by now. And it's just that our time is coming. No, Captain Gingerbeard, take the paintbrush away. Hobble them. Even has cockpit glare. I know, there's lensing on that. I didn't know what lensing was when I was 9 years old. Oh my god. Hey, what's up, Matt Yee? How we doing, my man? Playing some of that D and Yee. Folks, can we get a shout out, pretty please? For one Matt Yee. One of my favorite streams to just kind of sit in and talk constant shit about. Very, very talented painter. Does some work in oil. Recently did a pretty damn large goblin army for AOS in acrylics. It came out looking wonderful. Just fantastic. Pretty soon he's going to be hosting some games. You're gonna do live games on stream, Matt? We're also planning to do that here. My game room is still in the process of being converted up to being able to host some live games. You missed your first entry, Mafik. Live, and it looks juicy. I'm excited about that. Folks, go give Matt Yee a follow, though. Definitely check out his stream. Wheezy, that's fucking crazy. That's ridiculous. I choose not to believe that a 9-year-old painted that. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it because it hurts me, and I choose to believe something that doesn't cause me so much pain. Here we have from Zbrush Studios, the finished Heavy Arms Atlas from Ion Raptor, painted up in about 8 hours on stream. I did get the chance to watch a lot of this, which was nice. Done in my Z-Mation style with a 2D base, once again done by throwing radom colors down in random shapes. Radom? Random? Random colors down in random shapes. One of the two. And making some lemonade out of lemons, or something of that nature. Oh, tried to stay as close to the actual color palette from the Gundam reference. Thanks again, Ion, for giving me a chance to bring your hard work to life. And I blame Thunderhead for me being up at 4 a.m. finishing this so I can show it here. I couldn't ask for anything more perfect. I really couldn't. Merlin. Oh, my feet, thank you. Caught me slouching. Yeah. Now, interestingly enough, Zbrush, I feel like you toned down your red a little bit. I feel like you toned it down a little bit. Maybe it was that you came back in and did some washes, because the red was very, very orange the last time I saw you painting this, and honestly, it was kind of perfect, Zbrush. It was kind of perfect. I say this as somebody who watched Gundam Wing quite a lot as a child. Zbrush, here's to you. Now, that is not a critique, because this looks fucking phenomenal in your Z-Mation style, with the real stark panel lining and the sort of cartoonish cel-shaded damage that you've done on it. That looks fucking wonderful. Life gives you lemons. Yeah. Assume it. I was just thinking that. I looked up and I started reading it. Demand to see Life's manager. Make Life rue the day it thought it could give Cave Johnson lemons. Do you know who I am? I'm the man who's gonna burn your house down. With the lemons. Oh, is Greg the Salt Miner still here? Greg, if you're still there, there is a scene in Spider-Man 2 Extended Cut. Do you remember Spider-Man, there's the my back scene? Or I don't think it happens after that. The scene when Spider-Man gives up, when he dumps his costume in the trash, and then the trash man sells the costume to J. Jonah Jameson. There is a scene in the extended version of Spider-Man 2 where JJ is wearing the Spider-Man costume, jumping around his office, doing the Spider-Man thing, and, like, saying thwip with a cigar sticking out of his mouth. I mention this because it is, of course, the same actor who played Cave Johnson. Fuck! I can think of like 9 things he's been in, and I know his name. Somebody help me out. He was just in Invincible. He was just in Invincible. He was just in the Tomorrow War. He was in that show with the parallel dimensions. No, not J. Jonah Jameson, the guy who plays him. J.K. Simmons, Data Nerd, thank you so much. That was just evading me for some reason. But yeah, no, there's a scene with J.K. Simmons wearing the Spider-Man costume, jumping around his office saying thwip. It's kind of hilarious. And I had never seen it before. Zombie Brush, this is fucking awesome. I love the green that you did on the little combat knife. Ion Raptor did a fantastic job on this whole sculpt. The open missile doors are a nice touch on everything. I like how he's still got the Vulcans in the sort of like pectoral swing doors and everything. This is lovely. Just lovely, Zombie Brush, and thank you for sharing. Portal Origins? What the fuck is Portal Origins? Is that a thing? I've literally never heard of that before. Yeah, J.K. Simmons was the voice of Cave Johnson in Portal, though. Is the Leo an urban mech? Oh, you don't need to downgrade it quite that far, Trot. The Leo would be like a Whitworth. Come on, let's be fair here. Maybe like a Centurion. Tell me to watch my language. I'll see what I can do. Here we have from Amateur Paint Hour. Learning lesson for me, don't be afraid of the varnish. Second light coat definitely improved how the decals look. Now to find some tribal tattoo decals for my next Solaris Gladiator. Oh no, yeah, that absolutely helped tone down the edges. I don't know if you're using Microset and Microsol, but a little application of Microsol after you've applied the decal, and then come over it and first do a gloss varnish over the decal itself, and then do a matte varnish over the whole mini. Perfect decals. Every time. I'm glad to see you refining this mech, though. This Solaris mech is pretty excellent. That's a damn good-looking Nova Cat. Amateur Paint Hour. Oh, no idea what unit these guys belong to, but they're styling nonetheless. Probably Wolf's Spiders. Finished another Armor Lance for my Militia unit. Rather pleased with the outcome, even if I dislike red and black paint schemes. Too many units use it. Well, they use it because it's a great color scheme. Took it a bit further than normal, magnetized the turrets for fun. Update, realized these are Bulldog proxies, and as such needed a laser for the main gun. Stoneless B, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the Storm Chasers. Played around, kind of liking this purple lens, even if it's not the best color choice. Why not? Purple's a fine choice. I think number 2 came out best for the lens. It looks good. You could do something more contrasting. I think the only thing wrong with purple in this context is that it's a very warm color and it blends into how much red is on the tank itself. If you went with something like a green or a blue, it would just stand out more and create a better focal point. The lensing job, though, is top-notch. I like the red and black tiger stripe. It reminds me of the Terran Republic from PlanetSide and the camo patterns they get for their tanks, which only reminds me of them because I play Terran Republic and PlanetSide. Cajun Beauty, welcome in. How you doing? I made an explosive Leo. You mean just a Leo? Because those things are filled with, like, nitroglycerin. Merlin, we're going to have to limit the number of redemptions you can make. I've literally never heard of that before, Sumatha. Interesting. What about them all? If Hobby Lobby had more than one, every kit was 40% off. Ooh, damn. That's not bad at all. No, Ren. I don't play with the damn space rednecks. Might as well play Vanu. Ugh, gross. Red, black, Night Watch Games colors. It's a classic color combo. It's hard to go wrong with red and black. I think it's very telling that Amateur Paint Hour only dislikes red and black because everyone uses it, and everyone uses it because it's great. Here we have from Mafik. I'm quite tired writing this stuff, so here you go. Luma, aka... Okay, everyone, we should have like a little segment where like everyone just take a second, take a deep breath, let it out, center yourself, empty your mind. Because we're about to read something from Mafik. And I mean this in the best possible way. Mafik, you have one of the most insane imaginations I have ever been privileged to witness or partake in. Here we go. Luma, aka the Queen Acid Drider, basically Arden's other mom. Arden has A lot of mothers. Since he was a child around 2 years old, his actual mother, the goddess, went alone, finding other souls that are lost in the void to save, and Luma took care of him for 6 years until the goddess came back during the Forsaken Age. We all know about the Forsaken Age, of course. During that time, Arden became quite afraid of Luma because of her appearance. But time passes, and now he's not that afraid of her because the spiders cuddles. Since then, Arden has been getting used to sleeping on top of a life-size giant spider. I fucking told you to prepare yourself. Because he's been sleeping on top of Luma in the web nest when he was a child. It makes sense. And eating eldritch giant flies. Why wouldn't you? Luma is being a lovable mother to Arden, even if he's kept refusing to take a bath with her. Somehow it gets stranger. Mafik. Mafik. I want you to take this in the best possible way. I want you to take this with love. When I say you're a weird guy. Mafik, you're a weird guy. And I love it. Oh my god. Just taking a bath with the old spider mom. Oh my god. Alright, let's keep going. Here we have from Squared, first lance of the Orlov Grenadiers, ready to roll or stomp, as it may be. Ooh, oh, you cleaned this up nice. Okay. You enhanced the contrast a little bit. I maintained that, actually, it looks like you might have done a wash around the edges. This looks better than it did on the previous picture. Little changes. Walter's Workshop, I've got dibs. You back the fuck off. The Black Knight continues to be one of my favorite paint jobs you've done in this scheme. The purple on all these cockpits is looking pretty nice. This one really stands out, though. I think mostly because you had the most space to work with. It's very difficult to paint the cockpit glass, particularly on these two. What the fuck is this little guy, anyway? I don't recognize him. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's a Sentinel, and then I realized that he had 2 arms, and I was like, oh, no, it can't be a Sentinel. Oh, it's a Mercury. Oh, okay. I hadn't seen the new sculpt for the Mercury. That's probably why it threw me off. Damn good work on that, Squared. Here we have from... Oh my god, what? We gotta... Oh man, I don't have audio set up. Fuck! Hang on. Just hang on a second. I turned it off after last time. D input. I can set it up. It'll just take me a second. Or I can't, because my audio settings won't let me. What the hell? And now I can't select D for no good goddamn reason. There we go. Let's see if that works. That might work. I don't know why it's not letting me select that as an app in my sound settings. Like Discord doesn't exist? Oh, no, there it is. Okay. Alright, maybe this will work. Let's watch this clip of me playing fucking Prey. Stupid audio. Why am I so bad at streaming? Is this just a clip of me forgetting where a flexi foam bolt is? I can't. It's blocked from both sides. This is terrible content. I don't want to use another recycling charge. Let's go out the other way. It's on the 3rd floor on this side. My office is on the other side. This is awful content.
Access.
What are you doing to me, WJ? There were many better clips from this play session than this one, and yet somehow this is the one we're watching. I don't understand the logic. There are 2 explosive canisters here. What the fuck even just happened? I missed so many darts. So many darts. Half those darts were probably mimics. Fuck you. Let's keep going. Here we have from Automat Americana. Recently finished my first mini paint job. It's a custom camo scheme for a Merc unit I decided I wanted to create. Since I don't really care for the color schemes of any of Battletech's existing factions, I have a creative streak when it comes to world and character building. Wait, Matt Yee, you still in chat, buddy? You wanna have some chilies with me, pal? Oh, those sweet, sweet chilies. Oh, they're so good. Oh, The build didn't exactly go as I wanted. The missile pods are stuck in a bit of a permanent shrug since the drilling and pinning didn't really work out and the cockpit glass didn't turn out exactly as hoped. Wind does it. Wind does it, Automat, but I think I've figured out how to do it better next time. That's the key right there. Used a gray metallic automotive primer over the whole thing and a single good coat of white primer sprayed from the top down, also known as a zenithal prime. Base coats were done by brush, while the details for the camo itself was mostly done by airbrush and a little dry brushing like I was Bob Ross making happy little bushes. Just beat the devil out of it. The feet and insides of the LRM pods were base coated in silver, dry brushed over to differing amounts with black to give it a worn gun finish look. For the other metallics, I listened to warnings about mixing metallic paints together and promptly ignored it by mixing bronze and copper, and I'm loving the result. I love when we defy common knowledge and it works. I also use both brown and black washes to highlight. Low light, that would be shade. You just say wash. Everybody knows what wash means. It's shading. To add shadows and places where dirt has collected, medium lasers are done in 4 layers. Had to do some mixing to get the exact off-white I wanted for the LRM booster charges. Wanted to do some custom decals, but there's little room on this mini, and by the time I made my decal small enough, there wasn't much point. I know that feeling. It's the symptom of over-greebling. Once I have more of my Merc company built, I might take group pictures and include their lore in a post or something. Automat, I want to see it. I want to hear it. Matt Yee highlights his shadows. That's... Why do I even bother talking to you, Matt Yee? I don't know. I don't know why I'm still doing this. It's a Sisyphean task. Sisyphean? It would be Sisyphean, I think. Communicating with Matt Yee, that is. Now, this is one of the... First of all, this is a tiny picture. Oh, it's so small. It's a picture for ants. Oh, no. At least it's well cropped. I'll give you that. Now, this is one of the mechs available from Death Ray Designs, if I'm not mistaken. I think the overall paint scheme works out pretty well. I would love to see a slightly larger picture of it, Automat, if you feel like posting one up, just so I could get a little bit more meaningful commentary going on. I like what you did, doing the white and then the red on the inside of the missile pods. That's a very, very nice touch. Overall, the color scheme looked pretty good. I can tell where the lasers are. You got a nice bright green on there. Yeah, I know, Sumitha. It's painful. It's painful. No, it's really small. Yeah, I opened up the original. It's this size. It doesn't get any bigger. Automat's trying to make me ruin my eyes more than they already are. All in all, though, really nice job. These new DRD mechs are pretty sweet. I like how long the missile boxes are. I actually believe that there could be, like, reloading mechanisms in there, or even ammo bins. What a thought. It's a miniature for ants. Automat, nice job. I would sincerely love to see some larger pictures if you feel like posting them. Because it's a nice paint job, and I think more people would appreciate getting a close look at it. Oh, here we have from Negative Charisma. My current work in progress after quite a few coats of green stuff, and this little monster for a tabletop for keeping me sane. This is nice. This is a really, really nice sculpt. And yeah, it definitely has that Nicodemus energy. Or Nicol Bolas, not Nicodemus. That's something entirely different. Nicol Bolas. I love the big flat horns and like the funny little sort of catfish tendrils. Damn. Yeah, because that's something I've desperately tried to hide, Matt Yee. It would be devastating for me if anyone knew that I played Magic the Gathering for as long as I did. That would ruin all of my credibility. Can you imagine if the people who come to this chat... Let's look at the kitty, by the way. If the people who come to this chat, the, like, serious protein powder chugging chads that populate this chat were to realize that I play something as nerdy as Magic the Gathering, my credibility would be ruined. So let's not joke about that. This is my livelihood, Matt Yee. Mega Chads only. No, I think you misread that, Matt Yee. It's Mega Chuds only. Yeah, it's a common mistake. Can you imagine if you held... Assume I'm not even going to finish reading that sentence because that concept damages me when I think about it. It causes me to experience physical pain. Didn't Nicol Bolas have oval-shaped horns? So the later version of him, they came up in like an oval and then they went up in a straight line. I had the version of Nicol Bolas where he didn't have the oval horns. The version of Nicol Bolas that I had, he was sitting in a gigantic armchair, reading a book, smoking a pipe. And down in the foreground of the card, you could see a human, like thief, who was like sneaking into his study, and he was like teeny tiny. There was a whole scale thing going on. Reading a book like a totally cool guy. Now that would be a Mega Chad, would be Nicol Bolas on that particular card. Yeah, I had that card. It's probably worth money. I don't want to know how much, because I don't have it anymore. But you know what? You know what makes that pain better? Kitty. Fuzzy little fucker. Look at his little eyebrows. Look at his little eyebrows. They're adorable. He's just a little fella, too. Oh, look. It's like a Nintendo Switch for scale. Oh, negative charisma. Yeah. Two things that make pain better. Dragons and kitties. Switch Lite, actually. Oh. Excuse me. Pardon me, sir. Switch Lite. It's so attractive. I should make that sound more often. Here we have from Darkheart X9, finished base for one of my endless spells. Ooh, that's nice. That's actually really clean work, Darkheart. Which one is going on here? Where did these jack-o'-lanterns come from? Those are actually pretty neat. Well, I want to see this finished. Darkheart. I'm hoping it's later in the Storm Report since this has been open for days. Yeah, see, that's actually the truth of what I discovered about most of my cards' negative charisma. Yeah, like you say, there's 12 printings of that card, only one of them is worth more than a couple bucks. When I still had some of those cards, after I'd gotten rid of most of them, when I went through them, it was always like, oh, this has the picture of the... And you go and it'd be like, oh, but this one has a black border instead of a white border, so it's not from the one set that makes it worth $1 bajillion. That tended to be the case with most of the cards that I had. That was Nicol Bolas was only an Elder Dragon, not a Planeswalker. Yeah, when I started playing Gus Schultz, Planeswalkers didn't fucking exist in the lore as far as I know. It was still all very vague. I think I actually started playing Magic the Gathering back during Ice Age. I definitely at one point owned some Magic the Gathering cards that are now very valuable, but I didn't own them at a time when they were valuable. Yeah, I've never really been into the Planeswalkers lore, Shock 21. I've been out of it since... Well, I mean, I was in Magic when that was still going on, but I didn't pay any attention to it. Ice Age was great, and the last set that I really played was Mirrodin. The last set that I bought was Kamigawa. I bought some Kamigawa, I played it a little bit, and then I got out of it. I think I did like a couple of booster drafts when the 11th edition core set came out. But I played a lot of Mirrodin. I think I still have some Mirrodin cards for that matter. Setup Sunday, hell clearly froze over for about 2 weeks ago edition. Now it's been somewhat of a playful running joke that I'll never decide what 3D printer I want to build. Even if I magically did, there's no way I'd settle on the decision long enough to go through with it. We'll get the jig is up. And today we have a Voron Trident 300mm frame coming together after over an hour of inventorying parts. Outer frame has been partially squared with the self, while the rest of the frame was squared after this photo. Won't be able to do all that much more until my printed parts come in, but hopefully that wait is only a few more days since they're already halfway here. Whoa, nope, not doing it. Oh yeah, I also have a Mars 2 Pro as well as a Mercury X Wash and Cure Station 2. Those will be set up once I clean the living room so it is usable again, probably 20 minutes after I post this, because Room will wake up at some point. Still working on where the hell the Trident's going to go once it's fully built, but that's for a future Fox to worry about. I agree, that sounds like future me's problem. Ah, that's a big old printer. That's a big old printer. That's gonna be nice. Does it have... I'm assuming it has dual, if not quad, Z-screws. This thing should be pretty damn solid by the time you're done with it, White Wolf. Here we have from Ren. Soon. Nice. I can dig it. Ren. Gonna be going back to Kamigawa soon. Gonna be very Shadowrun / cyberpunk in nature. I can't... The thing, Inquisitor Burnsy, the part of me that wants to care and get involved, the other part of me is smart enough to not let him. I can't do Magic the Gathering ever again. I will spend too much time and too much money in it if I ever do it again. And so I have to be treated like you know, like a junkie. It's I did a couple of CCGs after that to sort of wean myself off of it. It took a long time for me to truly give up on them. But I'm better now. I'm a different person than I was then, and I'm never going back. I'll tell you, that is a damn nice looking print, Ren. I'm excited to see what goes down on it. Looks like you did it in that smoke resin too. Ooh, it's nice looking. Very, very nice looking. Here we have from Data Nerd. Now that we're back from Florida and have access to stuff, here's my late year in review shot. Ooh, pretty sure the first thing I painted in 2021 was a mech for Greg's one brush challenge, and yes, the rim on the base was not clean by the time I took the picture to share, but oh well. It's just a base. Grad school has been pretty much sucking my soul for most of the year, so I didn't paint too much. My favorite thing was Ion Raptor's Raptor I did for his contest, which I remember that one, and it's nice. Still really proud of it, and enjoy showing it off when I can. The last thing I started painting was Sam from Trick or Treat for the Supercell, but I haven't touched it since I posted the work in progress when everyone else did. Grad school is going to continue to suck my soul throughout all of 2022, but hopefully I can get on a little more painting this year. Yeah, just grab those moments when you can, when you have the inspiration and the time. Data Nerd, we need to do another Supercell. I wanted to do... So we did the Supercell with Steel Rebel, and it was a lot of fun, honestly, and I think that it could catch on and actually be something. After that, I kind of hooked up with a couple other streamers and talked about it, and it sort of fell through with them. It can be tricky. It can be tricky to get people available on specific dates, specific times to do a multi-stream with. Also having time on their printers. It's, I want to do more of it. I haven't given up on the idea. We took a little hiatus while I try to figure out some scheduling and formatting for it. She's actually doing really well, White Wolf. She was busy with work for a little while. She had some things that took her away from where she lives, and she had to do some traveling, and recently came back and has been doing her stream again. But yeah, she's doing great. I agree, this is fantastic work, particularly on the Raptor. I do quite like this paint job, and I like how you did the weathering on the feet, Data Nerd. And as far as showing progress, I mean, there's substantive progress as we move through this. I'd love to see you finish up the little Sam from Trick or Treat, because this is a great fucking model, and this was one of my favorite paint jobs of the year, honestly. It didn't take the place of favorite, because Old Sanguini was still my favorite, but I had a lot of fun painting this with Steel Rebel, and it's something that, I'd very much like to do again. And I feel like we need to do it a few times to really get the audience, to get you fine people involved, but the idea of it, for anyone who doesn't know, is that it's a multi-stream where myself and another streamer print and paint the same miniature, and it's a free STL so that you, at home, in the studio audience, if you will, which obviously we don't have, can go ahead and print it out and sort of paint along with us. And then the idea is for everybody to post their results so we can get kind of a look at how everyone approaches, how different people approach the same idea. And I really enjoyed doing it. We've done that comparative painting twice with Steel a Rebel, and we've come out with interesting results each time, because we have very different ideas of... We look at minis and we see different things. And that's something I'd like to continue to kind of analyze. Have you played Legend of the Five Rings? It's so much more interesting. I did when it first came out. I play tested that one. Was that the FFG one that I'm thinking of? We were involved in the playtesting for that one for a while, but I didn't pick it up after it actually came out. I also did Star Wars Destiny for a while, the one where you have dice associated with your cards. That was actually kind of a fun game for a little bit, but it got stupid real fast. She does indeed. Really nice work on all this, Data Nerd, and thank you so much for sharing your work with us throughout the year. I really look forward to seeing what you can crank out when you get some, like I said, the time and the motivation. Don't stress yourself, but I want to see. I want to see, Data Nerd, and I'd love for you to finish up your Sam. Here we have from Cyber Knight, a new year means a new design or something. I couldn't help but keep fiddling with this. There's a joke in there. Now called the Dune Runner, at 15 tons, 812 movement profile, 3.5 tons of armor, and a ton of cargo space, while armed with a pair of machine guns and a tag, is actually really cheap. Great for running around scouting, calling down heavy artillery, and just scouting in general. Still more to do, but really liking how it's coming along. There's a vehicle in Fang of the Sun Dugram that this reminds me of. Cyber Knight, if you look in... I can't remember the name of it. There is a group of rebels that the Fang of the Sun hooks up with, I think about 2/3 of the way through the series, and they have these little, like, desert buggies with missile launchers on them. And I don't know, the shape of this just really kind of brings those up in my mind. FFG picked it up after AEG sold it? Oh, okay. I didn't really follow the development of it all that much. I had a friend who was doing the playtesting for a release a handful of years ago. Yeah, Shock, it's a fun game, as long as it doesn't get too complicated, but that game quickly got too complicated. I could see that, Sumitha, yeah. You know what I realized is, I saw the new season of Lost in Space is out on Netflix, and I went to watch it and realized that I never finished watching Season 2. Turns out I have a lot to catch up on that. Now, so for those of you who don't know, Cyber Knight, our very own Metalcore Collectibles, has a whole series of really badass 6mm sci-fi mechs and vehicles available with some amazing posability and customization options. You can hit exclamation point Metalcore right here in chat to get a link over to his website. I'm not trying to shill or push it. I'm just saying, if you're into 6mm sci-fi, if you play Battletech or other comparable games, go take a look at his catalog. You need to know that these figures are available because they're so fucking cool. Go check them out. Here we have from Squared, working on Kursala and Cav Tankerus's Kiernan tank using the Rainy River Designs Arid Legion paint set. Speaking of things that you can get for yourself, Rainy River Designs you can always find a link to by hitting exclamation point Rainy River in chat. Run by our very own Kursala and Data Nerd, they produce an array of pretty damn nice acrylic paints in some really cool sets. They do metallics, they've got glazes, they've got washes. They have started to produce some of their own miniatures, like this really awesome asymmetric Kiernan tank. It's such a damn cool design. You can pick this and several more up from them now, and you can also get Thunderhead Studios merch there. I'm not saying that's what you should do. You know, I'm not saying that you need a nice Thunderhead Studio mug to drink your coffee and or tea out of as you sit and paint. That's cold. I don't want to. That would have been disgusting. But you know, you can get one. You can find them there. Also t-shirts and hoodies. Okay, I'm done. I'm done chilling my own shit now. But seriously, check out their paints. I love the Rainy River Designs acrylics. I haven't had as much occasion to use them lately because I've been doing a lot of oil painting, but I'm thinking we've got some more acrylic painting in our future. Really nice job on the camo on this one, Squared. You've kind of got that tiger stripe down. You've done it a number of times now. I love the sheer number of weapons on this tank, too. Damn. Started? Wait, what did I say? What did I say started? I probably wasn't thinking. Here we have from Merlin. Models had to sculpt this guy's nose using green stuff because Finecast is awful. Yes. Yes, Merlin. Finecast is fucking horrible. Oh my god. I bought a couple of minis in Finecast, and that was like, never again. Never again. He's just a little fella, though. I love the checkerboard pattern on the hem of his sleeves there. That's a nice touch. For as small as this guy is, you got some impressive effects done. Sculpted his nose yourself? I never would have guessed. It blends in seamlessly and nicely done. Yeah, Finecast is a great fucking line. Starting to produce some... Did I say starting? Whatever. We're doing it live. This is going to be mistakes. For the love of God. Oh, it's next to a mini D6 on top of that. No, it's a regular size D6. Either that's a regular size D6 or Merlin just has fucking tiny hands. I guess that's possible. This dude, he's a part of a larger piece, isn't he? I hope we get to see that. Had to sand 2 millimeters off the bottom because it didn't fit. Ooh. That's just a regular size D6, yeah. I realized that once I saw your hand. I was like, oh, okay. That's much more reasonable. That's nice work. I particularly like the checkerboard pattern because that's all done by hand. That's not a decal, which you can tell when you look in. It's very, very nice and even, though. I look forward to seeing whatever he winds up being a part of, because he looks like he's a piece of a larger figure. Oh, here we have from Ion Raptor. Tried to do it before the start of New Year's, but failed. Inspired by a Facebook post I saw recently, I gave the 9th Ghost Regiment a try. The cherry blossoms could be better. Think I need to go for larger clusters rather than scattering them around so much, and thinner branches on top of that. Also, think I need to go a shade darker for my gray. It's supposed to be gray, a gray so light it's almost white, but this is reading as actually white to too many people. Oh my god, excuse me. How rude. Okay, yeah, that's for the Inquisitor Karamazov, or whatever the fuck his name is. Yeah, okay. I forget that you're painting that. I don't know why. I love that mini. That's a classic. Video clip later with the second entry. Fantastic. I look forward to seeing it. It does read as white. This very much does read as white. I've done the gray so light it's almost white in the past when I was doing my Imperial ships for Star Wars Armada, because they have that same thing. Like, it's gray, but it's nearly white. I find a good trick is to lean into blue whites, blue grays, like Wolf Gray from Citadel. Ghost Gray from Reaper is a good color. It's almost white, but it's clearly not. And I think it's that temperature shift that reads as... Because here's the thing. White reads white without being white on a mini. Good white minis usually aren't actually pure white. They're a series of shades of gray. So a lot of what you do and a lot of what you tweak with your white paint jobs comes down to temperature. Shifting that temperature one way or another can change how you perceive the final color quite a lot. And if you're going for light gray that's nearly white, shifting into the blue spectrum with something like Ghost Gray, I think would probably help. Just so it doesn't quite read as white on the highest bits. Well, I mean, you could literally do that if you wanted to, assume that you've got the commands. The cherry blossoms, that is challenging. And this is another case where, like, you would benefit from having the overall shading be darker, and you would also benefit from shifting it more to a cool temperature, because the cherry blossoms are warm. They're that nice warm pink, and that is going to stand out much, much clearer against a cool background, like a blue. As it is, they kind of blend in a little bit. I get the idea of what it's going for. You might try blowing up the size, like the scale of the branches and cherry blossoms, to give yourself some more room to paint the details, because as much as this would look, and like, it's much more clear over here. It's a little bit more difficult to see here, but I think this is the best spot, is going up the leg. You've got a bit more of a broad area to work with, and you had some more time and some more space to focus on the blossoms. But this is the kind of thing where, like, this looks amazing on a full-scale mech with all the details. It's so hard to translate to 6mm. This works, though. I would say this part is a little difficult to make out, but this part works really, really well. Either way, I think that shifting into more of a cool tone for your gray is going to help the cherry blossoms pop out. I love what you did with the weapon. Black, gray, red. Very nice. Good looking Panther overall. Very, very nicely done, Ion Raptor. It's always good to see you painting some minis, man. Here we have from White Wolf, obligatory first print of the Elegoo Rooks that I sliced myself in lychee. But since that's boring, here, have an overcured calibration test alongside it too. The magic. The absolute magic of at-home, on-demand, additive manufacturing. God damn, I need a new Mars 2. I've tried everything on my Mars 1. My Mars 1 V1 is just fucked. I've changed everything but the screen, and I don't want to change the screen again. I just want to get a new damn printer. It still irritates me that I physically cannot upgrade this printer without, like, a fucking electrical engineering degree, because Elegoo just stopped supporting the version 1 of their original model. This is what you get for being an early adopter, folks. I got that thing when it was brand new, and they almost immediately released a new version with a new motherboard that just completely rendered all my shit obsolete. Yep, this is the test piece. Sumatha. This comes already sliced on a card when you get the printer. This is just to test it and make sure that it is in fact printing. It has a lot of internal shapes. It's designed to show off what the printer can do. Supportless stress test, there you go. I can't, Kursala. The motherboard that's in my printer will not support that. Believe me, I've checked. Nobody supports this edition of the motherboard. I would have to change out the fucking motherboard, which, at that point, I should just get a new printer. Yeah, see, Crossbow Rifu probably got the like, V2. I don't know that can be done, negative charisma. By the time we get to swapping the entire motherboard out of my printer, I'm just gonna buy another Mars 2. It has enough improvements on it, including a larger print area, that I'm like, just fuck it. I'll tell you what. My Ender 1 V1, which is right up here, I've printed enough on it. It has more than paid for itself, and I'm comfortable letting it go at this point. Nice test prints, though. Overcured still works. Here we have, also from White Wolf. It isn't going to finish before the report closes unless it magically loses over an hour for getting sorted out. So here, have a fuzzy pick of the printer and what I'm giving a shot at printing, because why the hell not? Going with a Knoll wielding an evil-looking sword as my first actual print on the resin printer. Would have been a pick of my Eevee and his Death Machine of Doom, but I'm supposed to be doing adult things like grocery shopping and whatnot. Ugh, boring. So Sazabi will have to wait for another time. Walter's Workshop, are you still in chat, by the way? Ooh, that's going to be cool. That is so detailed. That's a damn nice sculpt. I'm gonna want to see the finished version of that, White Wolf. Here we have from Shock21, I got nothing. So here's an early concept for Lone Star's ride I put together with the boys. We got something on the radar, sir. It looks like a Winnebago. Nice. Just kind of towing this time, though. More of a trailer, really, than a full-on Winnebago. Well, no, Winnebago's a brand, isn't it? I would assume they manufacture trailers as well. But it's one of those things where, like, Band-Aid is a brand, but we've come to associate it with a product. Winnebago generally refers to a self-driving RV. Spoiler alert, I didn't do the shopping thing yet. You're in good company. Procrastination is the name of the game here. Yeah, I thought so. I've never owned one, so I don't know the model specifics. Good old Legos. Good old Legos. Here we have from Manro Fasal, my Salamander's Apothecary. Ooh. Damn, that green. That green really just slaps you right in the face, doesn't it? I think an important part of this mini with all these bright colors is going to be what you wind up doing with the base. You definitely want to balance out how bright he is with some darker tones in the base, but I think you're probably on top of that. All in all, the white actually came out pretty good. I feel like you could shade it some more. You've gone with more of a stark panel line on it, which also works. But man, some shading on white goes a long way. Take like a black wash, mix a dab or two of blue in there. You might like how that comes out. Looked like it would print well with their pre-supported version, so I said, screw it. Yeah, dude, that's the great thing. If you print something and it doesn't quite come out right, you just futz with it a bit and print it again. Toss the old one in the trash. Or turn it into something else. Yeah, it's blue-gray with white over. Okay. So you've got the right instinct there, Manro Fasal. I would say, I say this a lot. I say this to a lot of people. It's sort of my catch-all advice. Don't be afraid of contrast. Do not be afraid of contrast, of putting two very, very different values of the same color next to one another. Lean into those deep shadows on the white. If you need to do it slowly, then do it slowly, but I would say take the leap and go with some real deep shadows and then work up to a point where you're barely putting any white in there. I think you'll be happy with the results. All in all, though, it's a very clean, nice-looking mini, and man, like I said, that green just slaps you right in the face. I love it. Here we have from Negative Charisma. Took these a couple hours. Oh, these took a couple hours. That makes more sense. But man, I love how the membranes turned out so far. Still plenty of work left to do. Oh. Okay, those do look good. Those look real good. We've got yellows. We've got some more livid colors. We've got some purples and some oranges being worked in here. Looks like we've got a little bit of green. These are lovely. I'm assuming that's all airbrush work. I like it. Going with the red rock base, I think that'll be a good balance, Manro. Those are nice. This is real nice. No, these membranes look fantastic. Once you can clean up the... What did we decide to call these? We had a word for them. Fingle-dingles or something stupid like that. I guess they're just fingers, but whatever. Once these are brought in line with the rest of the scales to kind of divide this up, this is going to look really... I mean, it looks good now, but it's going to look really good with that extra contrast. That's what they are now? Ooh, I'm hoping to see more then. Really nice airbrush work overall. Good use of zenithal angles. Finglongers! Sure. Let's do that. Here we have from Vergaderung. I have entered back into the land of enormous debt. Oh, well, welcome, brother. It's worth it not to have to deal with the constant sucking of the too old car money pit, though. It's kind of necessary. Plus, now I'm not driving a 15-year-old car. Feels like I'm driving in the future. It's a new 2022 Nissan Leaf SV Plus electric vehicle. Bleep bloop blorp. That's the sound of the future. I'm just helping to kind of usher you into the new age, ultimately. It's a nice looking little vehicle for Gadarung. And yeah, it's nice to hear you're not cruising around in something where you're constantly worried about way too much corrosion on the undercarriage. I'll tell you, that's what you get for living in a cold climate, though. Anybody who lives around snow, man, it is so hard to keep that shit off the undercarriage. Oh, Sumitha. I just immediately started singing Dare to Be Stupid in my head. Just fingers. Batwing is equivalent to your hand. Data Nerd, we had this conversation last time and we decided that fingers was not acceptable. We had to come up with a new word for it. Good luck, White Wolf. Godspeed. I hope that it is everything you dreamt it could be. Right, Matt? Look at the highlights. Look at even painted the reflection of a nerd. Look at this fucking dork right here. Like, you can just tell. And, like, I'm pretty sure all this background is just 2D. Right? And, like, when people paint snow, it's rare that anyone knows enough about being around snow to know that most of it is going to be this shitty brown, horrible, oily, disgusting, sloppy fucking mess. This is what snow is in the city. This is what snow is around any sort of machinery operating for any period of time. So congratulations, Vergaderung. Really, really nailing that effect. Phalanges. Flangies. I think Fingle Dingle. We're gonna go with Fingle Dingle. Because like, when I say it, I start to smile a little bit. I feel like that's all the justification I need. Nice looking ride for Godarung, and yeah, I'm glad to hear that you've gotten that taken care of, dude. Being in debt is just, you know, it's one of those things. It's just part of being a modern human, I guess. Ooh, from Merlin Models, we got a little video of Inquisitor Karamazov, his upper torso, coming together. Look at this chunky old boy. I love the shading on the skin. Is this a fine cast? Man, the surface. It looks like you're overcoming a lot of some surface imperfections here, but the shading on the mustache, beard, and head in general, like, this is fucking spot on. This looks great. It's all fine cast. Oh, man. Yeah, you're fighting an uphill battle on that one, Merlin Models, but you're doing a damn fine job, I gotta say. Not all debt is equally bad, but it all equally makes sure I don't have any money. Here we have from Kursala, since the missus and I missed the year in review, I'm going to put mine here so that it can still be seen. I opted for modeling again this year because I painted too many things to remember which one came first. This is why I'm glad I stream things. I can just look in the archive. First up is the Minotaur on the left, which I managed to bang out in about 25 or so hours, and was quite happy with it. It is not surprisingly the weakest of my tanks this year, as I hadn't standardized anything yet, was experimenting with some new setups. Final model was Thomas the Tank Destroyer, with a new render setup as well. And while it's not quite at the point I wanted, it's technically a finished model. This one took a grand total of about 10 hours over the course of a few days, and I was wildly inspired when I started it. It's always a good feeling. I love it when it just kind of flows out of you, you know? Excuse me. A big final chunk of time... Oh, hold on. I mixed up where I was in there. Okay, a big chunk of time modeling it was creating some of the subsystems that will be used in future models. That's just good thinking. Since I'm planning on building a library of parts I can slap together with a box and build a new tank in an afternoon. My favorite is, of course, the Glaive. On the right, it started as a complete rebuild of the Falx from the previous year, which was also my first completed tank, and still one of my favorites, I have to say, but turned into something so much better. I want to figure out a way to get these panels on a series of mechs, but that currently eludes me. Keep sticking with it. You'll find that right inspiration. Hands Designs knows what I'm talking about. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Welcome to the Storm Chasers. Let's take a look at these bad boys. Yeah. Yeah, I still, this is just one of my favorite design elements. Every now and then you land on just that one thing that works real well and can be applied to a lot of figures, and this sort of layered scale plate is really cool, and it's one of those where it's like a little fantastic, but at the same time I look at it and I think, no, that could work. That could work. If you could find a material that was light enough to make sense out of it, it would angle shots back away. If you shot it from behind or at a slightly rear angle, I mean, you would utterly destroy the damn thing, but, you know, it's science fiction. We can get away with these things. You should paint a tank, Negative Career. Why aren't you painting a tank right now? Come on. Dragon scale armor. Forever thinking of it in terms of that because the real world armor, the same name, looks really awesome. Yeah, no, it's a fucking great idea. And you're on the right track with creating the reusable elements for yourself so that you can sort of mix and match. That is an important part of generating an actual catalog of similar items. Kursala, wonderful work, man. I love being able to see how people have grown so much over the course of the last few years. For Setup Sunday, I can finally show off my new office, though as I was putting the images together, I realized I forgot to clamp the desk back together. At any rate, it's finally finished. I can now avoid work in style. Oh, that is nice. That is a slick desk. That would be a fucking expensive desk right there. Which, I mean, with good reason, you put a lot of labor into it, and that costs money. Damn. You did this one too, didn't you? I have absolutely got to get you out here and put you to work on some fucking woodworking tasks. Yeah. I could go for a new desk. My current one's kind of shitty. And in other news, our gaming mat finally arrived. Ooh, got one of them groovy Hextech Deep Cut Studios mats. I can see the hexes on it. A nice big 6x4. We're going to have to fill that bad boy up with terrain here right quick, Kursala. I look forward to seeing that. If you mill that honey locust, I'll build you a table from. I'd like to. I'd very much like to. I need to put together the logistics of actually getting it done, but I'm on board with that idea. These are, here we have from Night Watch Games, these are the right and left template plates out of 10 that can be put together to complete a whole character. The stats and HP counters marry up. 2 layers that will be assembled one below the other, complete with dials that will show through the small windows of the top layer. The plates will probably be 3D printed, and this is for a game that Night Watch Games is currently working on. We've got a control dial, an accuracy dial. Weapons can be changed, that's kind of cool. Special training. The soldier can spend 1 motivation to heal 4 damage from a friendly soldier within 2. You gotta have that I gotta say, I like that motivation is the spendable resource here for this modern tactical game. Like, there's a deep cut inside joke in there someplace. Friendly soldiers within 6 inches can hustle for 1 less motivation die. I'm curious about the life tracker here. Is this like total possible hit points and where they start on it? Huh. Let's take a look at the other one. Tactical. Stealth 0, armor 4 on a fucking LBE gear? Damn, that's some nice LBE. I don't know what armor 4 really translates into in game terms, but I assume it's probably pretty good. Once per turn, reroll any 2 dice. That makes sense for LBE. You got some extra stuff on you. The friendly characters within 5 can use healing equipment for 1 less motivation. Sig P320, K-bar knife. Unknown matrix of numbers here. Awareness, control, accuracy. Well, this seems to be coming together interestingly, Night Watch Games. I can't wait to see what you continue to cook up. And I'm gonna message you. I'm curious what you have for rules and how all this matches up. It's an interesting concept. What? Well, I mean, come on. We don't have to assume that I'm going to absolutely procrastinate on the thing I'm going to procrastinate on. It should actually happen sooner than that. I need to get the tree down in the spring, and I feel like I should have it getting milled, ideally by the end of summer. I've got a line on a couple people who might be able to help me out with that for not much, if any, compensation other than materials. Here we have from Arkrave, my Flames of War British Rechichico company. For a 30-point mini tournament I played in today, everything on the cooking pan was bare. Plastic, resin, and metal when 2022 started. Managed to tie for 2nd place until strength of schedule knocked me down to 3rd place. That's never a good feeling. Some nice quick paint jobs on these bad boys. I mean, you know, it's a fairly simple scheme, and it looks like you made use of some excellent decals to get it done too. But be that as it may, simply getting this many models ready to play with is an impressive, very, very impressive feat that quickly. Reminds me of the Mac and MWDA had to pilot with the ability that equated to you're motivated. I inspire you! The Command M4A376 Sherman tank from the list. I think I screwed up the decal on the front and tried to weather over it to cover it up. I don't think I would have noticed. I can't honestly. I assume maybe what I'm looking at is there's the edge of the decal in a couple spots here and here, but I don't think I would have noticed if you hadn't pointed out. I would have assumed that was just some form of weathering. Nice looking little tank you got there. I can dig it. I can dig it, Arkrave. Good job getting those together so quickly, man. Damn. Zbrush Studios homemade 6 cheese mac and cheese, smoked cheddar, sharp cheddar, Gouda, Havarti, Jack, and block cheese. Block cheese? Never heard of it, but was gifted it. Reminded me of mozzarella. What the fuck is block cheese? Is that like blockchain? I don't know what that is either. God, the world's so complicated, you guys. Oh, my lord. Let's watch it bubble. Oh, it's so greasy. Oh, it's so greasy. There are many cheeses that come in a block, Sumatha. That doesn't help me at all. Fuck. Here we have from Punished Fink. My current work for my Pi Galaxy Clan Ghost Bear. Gonna be doing a whole trinary like this. Oh, these are interesting little terrain blocks. Is this like you're building a board out of these? Are these paper craft? They almost look like they are. That's some interesting work. Good enough to stop you. Yeah, I can feel my heart slowing down just looking at that shit. Non-fonduable token. It's an NFT joke, and I like it. It's every cheese, really. Yeah, okay, almost any cheese can... This is a stupid fucking joke. I was corrected, it's a brick cheese. Yeah, that doesn't fucking help. I buy many cheeses in brick form. Yeah. That's a papercraft prototype. It's looking nice. I can dig it. Seems like it's... I like that you've gone with what appear to be at least 2, maybe 2.5 inch hexes, just giving yourself some extra room so you can do the kind of, like, trees around the edge and not have to shift them around. Nice job. Oh, the detailing on the mechs, though. I'd love to focus in on that. Damn. There's a lot of freehand going on here and some careful little designs. Ooh, I want to see more of this. Punished Fink, if you feel like posting more of this as you work on it, I would love to see where this is going, because there's a lot of cool freehand detail in here. Want to make a set of 2-inch hexes so I can do scenic stuff. Yeah, I think it's a good format. Very, very nice work, Punished Fink. I'd love some if you feel like it, a close-up shot of each of these individually posted over in like either the Showcase or the Stompy Robots channel on the Discord. I would love to see more of them. Yeah, I saw you working on the Cougar. Of course, you were up in the tiny little corner. I never seem to get to see it as large as I want. But yeah, please, post closer pictures. Here we have from Project Dark Fox. This is all I feel comfortable sharing for the Storm Report. First picture, commissioned the line art from Rainy River Designs of the Minotaur tank, finished a little over a week ago. And second, finished a headshot commissioned literally earlier today for Crossbow Roof. My first dragon that I don't hate myself for. Jesus, Project Dark Fox. That is a huge leap. I did an art. I hate myself. Stop that. For the love of God. Oh, this came out nice. I really, if I can pick out my favorite thing on this particular design, not just that PDF did a fantastic job bringing this sketch together, but I love the barrel design on this guy. The sort of flattened hexagon with this little inset section here and the sort of, I don't know, muzzle brake looking end on it. That's nice. That's real fucking nice. And the dragon sees you, Matt Yee. He's looking for a little pocket game of that D and Yee, you know what I mean? Oh, the beer's almost flat. It's awful. Oh, the shading on this actually came out really nice. You've been doing a lot more of this soft shading style, Project Dark Fox, and it's decidedly paying off at this point as far as being able to sell 3-dimensional shapes in a 2-dimensional space without resulting to a lot of hard lines. Like, it's really coming together. Plus, I get a lot of attitude out of this guy's face here. He's giving me, like, this is like the people's eyebrow. I feel like this dragon, if he could speak, he would be calling me a jabroni. And, I'm strangely okay with this. Coming down, we have from Arkrave the clip that Arkrave mentioned. Oh my god. Hold on. Okay. I need to move my screen here a little bit, because this is what he's talking about. And let me... What the fuck? Let me turn down Pretzel a little bit here. He doesn't sound like me, though.
Not this time. This time is a different time.
What? And then wrapped up with an always sunny joke. Well, this guy kind of is me.
Boat. interesting tactic. Last time I got in a boat, I got rocked by a car 98 to the face. Not this time. This time is a different time.
Is this dude like my long-lost cousin? Or something? Because that's a little eerie, if I'm being honest. I think my camera's better. I've got that going for me. And I don't play PUBG, so I've also got that going for me. Oh my god. Oh, that looks like it, though. That will bring us to the end of tonight's Storm Report, and in accordance with the traditions of Thunderhead Studio, the end of tonight's stream. We actually got through that a little quicker than I thought. I got a little, over-concerned with the length of the Storm Report, and, maybe started a little early. We could've waited. That's okay. Great value, Thunder. We've got Thunderhead at home. The Thunderhead you have at home. Please do. Yeah, no, I'd love to see some close-ups of those bad boys. Let me figure out who we are rating tonight. And folks, I know a lot of you might be turning in for the night, but I always ask, if you feel like it, stick around for just a couple of minutes. I always try to raid you someplace that I think is relevant to your interests and to someone who deserves some attention, so if you're not following them already, you have a chance to find out what they're about. Maybe drop them a follow, even if you can't stick around for tonight. And for tonight, that person is going to be one Wombat Combat Prime, a friend of mine from when I used to live down in Texas. Really good dude. Let's get that going. He is working on some of his Warhammer figures tonight, and that should be a damn good time. Folks, thank you so much for being here tonight for the first stream of the new year, but far from the last. We're gonna be here all the way through at least 2023. I shouldn't make claims like that. Anything could happen. Anything could happen this year. But we got big plans. There's a lot of new things we want to do this year. I want to get some gaming streams going this year. I want to do some battle reports. I want to get some more multi-stream events going. We're gonna figure it out. We're going to figure it out together. And that's what really matters. I will be back Tuesday the 4th. We'll be painting some Conquest figures right here on the stream. I'm thinking we're going to jump up to the Noble Knights, because it's more interesting than watching the militia painting, which is just fucking mind-numbing, and I still have 12 of them to do. Then Thursday is going to be a gaming night. We are going to continue with our playthrough of Prey from 2017, which is an awesome fucking game. I know a lot of people have been enjoying watching that one. We're really getting into the storyline of it. And then Sunday, the 9th, will be another 3D sculpting stream. We'll be back here on Zbrush, probably doing something with a bit more texture and a bit more interest. Guys, thank you, all of you, Locusts and Gentlemex, for coming out tonight and sharing this time with me. It has been an absolute pleasure talking with all of you in chat. Thank you to everybody who posted in the Storm Report, and thank you, as always, to my amazing team of mods. I'm going to send you on over to Wombat Combat, so make a little bit of noise. Until next time, keep on painting.